Hello. Hello. Hi. Happy Valentine's Day. I know. Who's going to be my Valentine's? All of you? Dang. That's a lot. I'll take it. The more the merrier, right? Hello. Happy Saturday. I'm not prepared. I'm really not. Let me pull up. We're going to be doing like a little hangout. Hi, everyone. Please hit the like button. Oh, a few of you are here. I saw Luna, Debbie, Evie, old days. I know we started late today. Joker. Hey, Joker. I don't know if Joker's still here. Hey, Crease. Hey, old days. Nap. Hey, Ocean Star. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. 5 kisses for Melly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know it's our Galentine's. Yes, it is. We're gonna hang out and talk all of us babelets. Exactly. We're going to be talking Nancy Guthrie. Nothing new, really. Sadly, because we were all here last night. Where is she, Nancy? I have no words. No words. After today, I've just been like, okay, I'm kind of over it. And I mean that respectfully. Like, I'm kind of over covering this case right now because I feel like we're getting a lot of misinformation and no updates. Sorry, let me take a drink. So I'm just kind of like not losing hope completely, but I feel like something's really off about the Nancy case, and I feel like we're not getting what we need to be getting from law enforcement. And after last night, allegedly, they had a warrant, something about a tip they were looking into. Nobody got arrested. I don't even know that they were supposed to. We don't know anything. Allegedly, they're waiting for like DNA results, but I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on the Nancy case. And then on the Jeffrey Epstein, like I decided, we've been talking about how I've been covering it and YouTube is censoring me. And I refuse to stop exposing it. I really do. So I don't, I don't know how that's going to go with YouTube, but I guess we'll deal with that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm not going to stop doing the Epstein files. And so on this channel or the second one. So tomorrow we do have an Epstein live, but I wanted to show you guys tonight. This isn't an Epstein live. We're just hanging out and talking. So if you want like a deep dive or, a set live on a specific topic, it's probably not it. We're just having a good time here. Cheers to you guys for being here. Please hit that like button. I'm going to show you guys about, they took a document down. Like I've been downloading things like crazy. I'm sucked into the Epstein files, and this morning I was like prepping for a live because I was supposed to do Epstein earlier. And I'm like pulling up the documents. And this one in specific, I already had since like maybe Wednesday on my list to do today or tomorrow. And I pulled up the document because I have most of them downloaded on my computer. I've had to pay a lot of extra money to get drives because you literally need to buy hard drives for the amount of data there is in these files. And let me know how you feel about like the whole Epstein thing. I know a lot of people are like, it's fake, but it's not, right? Like it's not. If our own government is putting it out there, it's not fake. So then they just made up these fake pictures and decided to distribute them. It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would they even put themselves in that position? The Epstein files are brutal. I can see why YouTube is censoring it. And at the beginning of all of this, they all started around the same time, and people were like, it's a distraction from Nancy Guthrie, is a distraction from the Epstein files. And I was really not open to that statement. I'm like, no, like it's two different things. And I can't help but think that perhaps maybe they are. As I dig deeper into the Epstein files and see what's going in the Nancy Guthrie case, I don't know. Are they connected? Like, there's a lot. And the Guthries are in the Epstein files. I might show that email tomorrow. I might do a short on it or drop a video. YouTube really does not like people pushing this out. A lot of creators have posted 1090 Jake, Crime Conspiracies, I think, LTL Media, Grant Smith Ellis, I know who's big on X, is being censored there as well. I came across a photo that also that basically shows like a DAD body in the shower. Um, and that's no longer available. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. So when you guys hear me talk about this file is no longer available, what I'm telling you is I downloaded it, it was there. Like I'm crazy most of the time, but not really. Like, and so I have these files, a lot of them that have been deleted. I have a lot of them. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. But anyways, we're going to just go over and check Brian Enton, Pimas County, maybe the FBI page. I don't know that they would have any new updates on Nancy Guthrie. But again, no one's been arrested. We don't know if the body that was seen by another YouTuber is that's actually true. We don't really know what's going on. So I figured we could start with Brian Enton. I'm loving his reporting. And he also put out in a video, so I thought we would watch a little bit of that. And then I'll show you guys what the Epstein files looks like when they take down the pictures, because why put it up if you're going to take it down? If you're not hiding anything, I don't necessarily get it. It really makes no sense. If they were fake, why would the government put them out there and have to deal with defamation, harassment, whatever the case can be by all these elites? Like they're just going to put out fake information about Prince Andrew, people that are stepping down. I don't know if you guys are caught up on it. I don't like to talk politics here. I really don't even allow it from others unless I'm speaking about it, but I can't help. It all blends in with the Epstein stuff that I'm covering. So the DP CEO that we've been talking about, Salami, he's been, that's not his name. It's Suleiman or something. He has now stepped down. He has officially stepped down. He's the one that sent the torture email. Oh, I loved, or no, I can't remember if he said he loved it or Jeffrey said he loved it, but he has stepped down from that position. So there has been a few things that changed. But why is Nancy Guthrie case such a big deal? What about all the missing children and stuff? I know we feel a type of way, but it's in the files, guys. And again, why would they put fake information out like that? So let's start with Brian Enton. Let me see what you guys are saying. Jeff said he loved it. Oh yeah, it was Jeff. I couldn't remember. I'm deep into it. My brain has officially exploded. Is the stream laggy only for me? Yeah, let me know. Let me know. Hey Valerie, Mr. Salami. Yes, Mr. Salami. So I guess we all got stood up on Val. You mean with the Nancy case? Yeah, they were like, yeah, I'll be your love on this. You know what, Cat Randall? You can be my Valentine, Cat Randall. They're also connected. Yeah, exactly. Gonna grab snacks and hope for. Yeah, no, I don't think we're getting anywhere with Nancy, and we're not going to be here for very long. We're just doing like a little hangout because I have Jodi Arias trial. I want to watch that tonight. I need a distraction. I think we just need a break. You know, at least I know I do. I've been finding some. Okay, so let's go back to the Epstein files because you know how I'm telling you, like they delete shit. They're taking things down from the DOJ website. So they have this weird thing. I know this doesn't make any sense, but I'll show you when we get to Epstein. They have like a PDF file on the website and you can go into it. And then it says like no image, no image produced or whatever. But if you convert that file, it turns into a clip. So I did a short on a bunch of clips where it's basically a bunch of young girls, NAKED, are doing some weird shit. But they're not even there as videos. Like they don't even let you know it's a video. You think you're going into the file and it's a PDF. and then it says no image produced. Well, because it's not a PDF, you have to convert it into a like an MP4 or a movie, and then you're able to download the file. So why the hell is the DOJ doing that? Like, doesn't that seem weird? Like, why are we having to convert the file to see the clips? And they're weird clips. They're the ones that I have been playing here on my channel with the young girls dancing in front of the mirror. They're the ones from the tunnels. When we watched that tunnel video, that one was in there. And then there's like a bunch of other stuff that I've been downloading that I haven't showed yet. And I'm just like, why do they do that? And why there's like news clips. Like, I don't know if it was Jeffrey Epstein. He was like clipping things from the news about, I think, things he was related in. And so those are clipped into all of these files. And it's a bunch of weird shit. Like, I'm telling you, it's a bunch of weird shit. Okay, but anyways, let's get back to Brian Enton. We'll go back and forth. Oh no, I'm little on the screen. Dang it. Okay. So anyways, there was somewhere someone said the PFE committed the ACM unredacted. I don't know about that one, Evie, but I do know that they make it complicated. Those new clippings from 2017 document dump. There's a lot. There's millions and millions and millions. I will die going through these. Like, I will sit here and turn to stone. I don't know. You need a team to be doing it. Like, for those creators and channels that have like 4 or 5 people doing it, like, kudos to you, because I'm over here and I'm like, holy shit. I think I've got like maybe 3,000, maybe more. I don't know. And I'm exhausted. Like, from just the material that's in there, and you have to read everything. It's like every document has like some hidden message. I'm really not shitting you guys. Like, there's a court transcript and I'm like reading through it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we can go through this. Like, I think you guys would be interested in it just as I am. But the more you read into it, there's like parts of it that I'm like, wait, fuck the whole transcript. Like, this line itself, like, it's just there, it's a brutal, like, there's a reason for every single document. And if you're not catching on to it, you're just not. And so you should be watching people that are catching on to it, and those people that are exposing the Epstein files, and you should be showing them a lot of love, like me, aka, because YouTube is coming down hard. They're demonetizing the whole video or completely taking it down. So it's really fucked up. So back to Nancy Guthrie. There hasn't really been anything. Brian Enton says 1 hour ago, investigators have used what is called a signal sniffer. It is a small device that was sent in and attached to the sheriff's helicopter. It can detect Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker signal. The helicopter has to stay low and move slowly for it to work. So nothing happened last night, and now they're doing this. A signal sniffer? I don't think I've ever heard of that. Where's Nancy? Is my question. Like, where the fuck is Nancy? It's 14 days today. The FBI is involved. Do they really not know anything? Are they just keeping things from us? It's kind of really getting a little bit to be too much. I'm really not gonna lie. And the family's so quiet. Like, they know there's media around the house. They've never showed up. Okay, maybe they don't want to because it does cause a lot of drama, but you asked the public for help. So then act like you want that help. I said this last night. Am I knocking Savannah Guthrie? Yeah, I am a little bit. I am. I really am. She should have had a help for her mom. Maybe she did. Maybe we don't know. 2, why was your mom living alone? 3, why don't you pay the Bitcoin, or did pay the Bitcoin? Nothing has been paid of the ransoms. Even if you lose it, like, so what? Isn't your mother worth $66,000? when you're worth like 80 million in combination with your husband who worked for Bill Clinton. He was the cleanup guy. You guys think I'm lying? I'm not. Go look it up. Go look it up. Is it a coincidence that Nancy Guthrie's missing around the same time the Epstein files drop and Savannah is in them? Yeah, maybe it is. I don't believe in them, but okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they one and the other has nothing to do with each other. It's a very odd time to be experiencing both of these things when there hasn't been an arrest in the Nancy Guthrie case, nor has there been an arrest on any of these elites mentioned in these files. If it's not true, then still have your day in court and prove that. Like, why does anybody not care or do anything about it? I'm really confused. Who's okay with children being raped and tortured? I'm a little confused, like when we switched from not being able to speak up, and it's uncomfortable. I get it. It's really fucking uncomfortable to talk about children being touched and raped and eaten from what's in these files. It's hard to believe that we live in a world like that and that people are capable of things like that, but it's absolutely true. We saw it with Diddy. Where's Diddy sitting in prison right now? Laughing at all of us. Every single person that talked about him and his cases and him being a PDF file and the baby oil, like he's sitting in there and he's literally like, I'm about to get out of here because Trump should be the one in here as well as all those other people involved, whether it's true or not. If it's not true, okay, fine, go to court, prove it. I don't know. Do you got a lot of money? Lawyers, people that will come in at your beck and call when you're a celebrity and an elite in that position. And so like, if my channel gets taken down for talking about the Epstein files, or if they continue to demonetize me, I guess it is what it is. And I'll have to start over, but I guess that's the risk you take, right? But it's sick and I refuse to ignore it. So, and I also refuse to ignore that there's some buffoonery and fuckery going on in the Nancy Guthrie case. So there's that. So a signal sniffer. Okay, you could have called the signal sniffer like 2 weeks ago when the case first happened. So thank you very much. 2 weeks too late. Nancy is a 84-year-old female who has healthcare issues. So it's a little too late, I think. And people don't want to say anything and talk shit. And okay, well, it is what it is. Like, they suck. They haven't been able to figure it out. Maybe they know what's going on. Maybe it's a matter of time before they make an arrest. Justice for Carlos. I don't know what happened last night with those people. And if they didn't get arrested, I'm questioning things. 9 hours ago, Pima County Sheriff says last night's activity was a federal search warrant based on a lead they received. Traffic stop also connected. No arrest in either. Staying on top of what happens today, also getting ready for our News Nation special, going to go through everything we know, which we're going to be watching. While there are no arrests, I am told investigators are still interested in leads from last night. It's all ongoing. What do you mean it's all ongoing? Because either you're going to arrest me and you're going to read me my Miranda rights, and you're going to search my house, et cetera, or you're not. Like, I don't know who these people are in Arizona. I don't know if they're wrongfully being accused. I don't know what tips they're getting, but going into there and searching people's houses, from what we're hearing with Carlos and other people, like, I don't know what this police department's doing here, but it seems a little fucked up. And I'm just a little irritated. So don't mind me tonight going on a rant about both of these cases. But like, let's quit acting like it's cool, because it's not. Yeah. That's why I think Melly's trying to get on having StreamYard problems or something. There's someone said that oh yeah, I already read that. The news clipping from 2017, I like the pretty light. Thanks, Knox. Good to see you here. One channel made a bot to sort through the files. Hey, Born Twice. Yeah. Hey, Evie. Oh, that's what Pizza said. Hey, Pizza. Melly, you're my hero. You are fearless. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate you. No, I'm just a girl up here. Really. There's a lot of food as code muffin. Yeah, sick. Yeah, so chase Melly. Yep. Melly is a hero we need. I'm a little behind on the comments. I'll get caught up. What happened tonight? What happened tonight is I'm over here ranting. I told you nothing would come from last night. No, they nothing did come. They need to find her. At this point, I don't have any hope that she's alive, but I'll try to stay as positive as I can, and I mean that respectfully. Okay, new thoughts on Nancy. If the daughter and the husband are connected to Epstein, I wouldn't be surprised if daughter and husband hired someone to kidnap her. I'm tooting my own horn. I think she wandered off into the desert. Hey, perps, everything on TV is scripted. Yep. I would pay every penny I had to get my mom back. Right. Why is she alone? And I still think this. No, yeah. Why is she alone? Don't give Savannah Guthrie credit for making an Instagram clip about her mom and not paying the ransom. Like, you guys, I don't mean to sound like an asshole, but like, I'm sick of all the like fake shit. Like, she did she have someone caring for mom? And will wholeheartedly apologize if she has a caretaker or something. But that night, your mom, it proves that she was living home alone. And whether she can fend for herself or not, she wasn't able to be that mobile. So I don't know what doctors you're talking to or what's going on, and you live in another state and you're living the big life. I get it. And then you putting out those weird posts about asking the public for help, but then you're not saying anything else. And if the police department is being shady, then speak up on it. Like, or am I crazy for thinking this? You could just tell me you're way in too deep, Melanie. You have lost your damn mind with these Epstein files. Cut it out and get your shit together. I'm almost always right. They let it go on so long. Hey, green eyed. Oh, you're right on both. Yeah, she probably died. Ooh, I don't even know what to think at this point. Last night you said if I wake up and it's the same thing and it happened. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Mel. How dare they mistreat our girls? Our girl. Yeah, tell YouTube. Talk to YouTube about it, aka Google, aka Sergey. I call him Sergey, who was in the Epstein files, by the way. It's just the truth. I showed you guys the pictures. The Guthrie case does feel like a psyop. Yeah, I am officially there. I told you guys nothing would come of it. So this guy that got detained got released. We don't know if someone even unalived themselves. We don't know what they went into that house and did. We don't know if they went and searched it. We don't know who was involved, who's renting the Airbnb. Is it that person that's being looked at? Is it somebody else? They were saying an attorney was the owner of the house. Then they said that's not true. We don't know where Nancy is. We don't know what happened with the Range Rover. Like, we don't know what the involvement that was last night from Culver's Burger Spot, I think. So we don't officially know anything. We're just left in the dark. Just tracking down leads, no rest, no signs of Nancy. Yeah, where is Nancy? Where is Nancy? We need to know. I'm mad she was alone. Me too. My parents are more than important. And I feel, don't get me wrong, I feel for the Guthrie family. I do. It's horrible that they're going through it. I'm not hating on them. I'm not hating on Savannah, but like, let's just acknowledge the truth, you know? And I don't know what it's like to be Savannah, but it's like with the Kenzie stuff, like, Natalie, speak up. If you think your daughter's innocent, speak up. And look, they did. They are. Older people to live alone. No, you haven't lost your mind. Just not thinking deep enough. No, you spot on, Melly. No, you're thinking clearly. Melly, I think I saw Kanye West wasn't lying. No, Kanye West wasn't lying at all. I find myself going towards that direction too. I'm like, okay, listen. There's a lot of older clips too of people that talked about this all going on, that talked about before Virginia, about Pizzagate and all this stuff. Even Michael Jackson, at the end of the day, I think Michael Jackson was set up. I really do. I don't think he was raping kids. I don't. At some point, he tried to expose all of it before he got set up or became the monster that everybody thinks he is. But if you go deep into the files, you will see this for yourself. You don't have to have me tell you. I know you don't. I know the type of people that I attract to my channel, and that's you guys. I know you guys would see it for what it is. And that's a compliment. The Pima County Sheriff tells locals affiliate. That means that you guys are, I believe that you all here are smart enough to see all of it, is what I'm saying, respectfully. Nothing more than a lead tracked down that led to a search warrant and no arrest. So who is the judge signing off on these search warrants to go to Carlos's house and these people's houses, and then there's no arrest? I'm a little concerned because if that was my house, I would be a little upset. Searching people's houses, SWAT team. Oh, it's Guthrie related, but it's not anymore. Like, we changed our mind. Yeah, where do you know about the Range Rover? I got caught onto with Banfield. Do you think she's alive? I'm leaning towards no. Again, I blame the sister, just something isn't right with her, said Evie. Melly, I mean, she didn't even have life alert. Thank you, Green Eyed. I had to put Littles to bed. Okay. It's confusing. No, I'm not buying MJ's innocent. Diana Ross, I haven't looked into her. Really messed up. The head cop said it may take years to find her. Yeah, what does that even mean? He did say it could take months, weeks, and years to find Nancy. I think it's in one of these posts. I thought it was. I saw it somewhere. I might have saved it in my saved post. But yeah, Nanos, I believe, is the one who said it. He said it could take weeks, it could take months, it could take years to find Nancy. And we're like, wait, what do you mean years? So is the update still no update? Still no update. Luke Daly, Range Rover, dude. Life alert. Wait, what did Kanye say? He said that we were being fooled by all the government, basically. The jailer sat at home months. Yeah, I'm sure he did. Let's see what the FBI has said. Nothing, because I think it's only Pimas County reporting on it. Yeah, see, there's nothing on Nancy Guthrie. It's all like political stuff. Let's watch Brian Enton while I pull up the other stuff that I want to show you guys. He did, I think, a video, I think a couple hours ago on the updates from last night. Oh wait, let's actually play this one first with Maureen. She does Brian Enton's show with him. I really. Oh shoot! Hold on.
Sheriff is probably going to send that DNA to that private lab in Florida, which specializes in touch DNA. And they can do a one-to-one comparison with the known DNA that they have and this person to see if it matches. What they cannot do is they don't have the ability to run it through CODIS. So it's going to have to go probably to the FBI lab at that point so that we can keep this lab situation down to a manageable number. And then the FBI or the sheriff's department can run it through CODIS, the national database for DNA, and then determine if that will hit with anyone else. But the DNA sample that the FBI is or that the private lab is in possession of, if they have sent it back to the lab to the sheriff already, it's already in CODIS. If they haven't, then they're going to have to send it back to the sheriff or to the FBI to get it uploaded into CODIS and then compared.
Maureen, we've all seen just the horrifying, frightening photos from the front of the house that the FBI was able to get off the Google Nest camera of the man, covered from head to toe. Do you think, and I've thought a lot about this, do you think someone else involved, and I don't mean just someone else to plan this thing, I mean someone else who was actually at the house that night and also went into the house to kidnap Nancy?
Well, obviously we're not sure, but I would say it's probably likely there was someone driving the car. And the car could have been right there in the driveway. It could have been halfway through the circle driveway. We don't have the entire video. I'm sure the FBI has much more video. Did this person attempt to open the front door here? Did they have a key to the front door? Did they go around to the back door? Do we have that video? There's just a lot of unanswered questions, but for me, it would make a lot more sense if you had at least two people involved in this conspiracy and the other person was driving the vehicle.
Why do you think his backpack is so full, Maureen? It looks stuffed. I mean, what do you think could be in there?
Violent criminals, he's obviously got a proclivity to violence, and that's one of the questions when you're trying to analyze the offender of a situation like this. He's got a proclivity and a predisposition to violence because she was bleeding on the front steps when she left. So there's just no question there. That is an actual fact that we know. So, and he's got that gun on his waistband, but with regard to that backpack, could he have a tarp? Could he have restraints? Could he have tape? Those would be the things I would expect to find in something like that. He could have rope. Who knows? But this is why when municipal law enforcement officers pull people over and they see kits like this in their trunk, or burglary tools or whatever, it gives them probable cause to search or detain or even arrest.
And just real quick, Maureen, there's something I learned about that hasn't been reported yet. We saw a helicopter very low over Nancy's house and in the surrounding area the other day. And I'm told there was something called a signal sniffer on one of the skids of the helicopter, a very, very small box, like less than 7 inches long, that could actually detect Nancy's pacemaker. And again, I have not heard this.
So why didn't they think of that before?
Confirm it. And it just made me think about all the technology that the FBI is likely using now that we don't know about. I mean, is there AI involved? What else do you think other tools they may be using that we just don't know?
You're too fucking late.
They'll be using every tool we have to try to bring Nancy home. With regard to this particular tool, I don't know, but
14 days too late.
Do know that the pacemaker sends off a very short distance.
I'm so confused.
Alert or whatever. So they're going to have to get really close. How close were they to the ground?
They were close, Maureen. Yeah, that's what was so interesting when we saw the helicopter. They were so low, and we were all talking about it. Like, what are they doing? Why are they hovering so low in different spots around the yard? Come to find out, they actually had this signal sniffer sent in, special for this. It's it's like a special piece of equipment that had to be sent in, which it makes sense now why they were hovering so low. Maureen O'Connell, I always appreciate talking to you and your expertise. Thank you for joining us tonight.
So did they get a signal? Just wondering. Let's watch this other clip of News. I love News Nation.
Joining me now is Bob Krieger. He is a former Pima County SWAT. You were the sergeant of the SWAT team, right? You were pretty much over the SWAT team.
Commander, yeah.
Commander, yes.
For the last 5 years,
It's
off
nice,
and on.
It's nice to see you again, Bob.
Thank you.
Walk us through a little bit of what you know about this operation last night. And
I think Brian, I'm really liking Brian.
You surprised the sheriff texted me this morning that there were no arrests.
I'll start by saying I'm not surprised there were no arrests. That's not uncommon in an operation like that. SWAT serves a couple different functions. First and foremost is to make the scene safe for the investigators. They are not really concerned with evidence collection, things like that. They're concerned with taking everyone into custody, doing that safely, and giving the investigators a safe scene to work with. So it's not uncommon to go through an operation like that. They were there to collect evidence and interview people, and that all got accomplished. So last night was a success.
And that'll just take time now, because I'm assuming, just like we saw at the situation near the border, they take electronics. I'd imagine all that's going to take some time. We're not going to see an immediate arrest.
Exactly. Unless there was evidence gained that it was rock
Jesse.
solid and it was time for the arrest, then they would do it then. But again, not uncommon. Sometimes these, as we can tell now, we're in the second week. These investigations can take a long time to get what they need to get the probable cause to make an arrest.
Hey, like,
So many people around the country and really around the world are following this case and have questions about this case. And we've received a couple of videos from people who had questions for you, specifically one about cameras in the area. I want to play this and then I want to get your reaction.
Can you provide any clarity on the traffic camera situation there in Tucson? Because I've heard that they don't really have traffic cams that the police can rely on in this investigation. And second question, do they have license plate readers in that area?
Okay, you're the perfect guy for this.
So on the first part of that question, we do not have many red light cameras or anything like that. There are a handful within the city limits. We had them years ago. The voters chose they didn't want them, so they were removed. So as far as the camera technology goes,
that's really crazy because where I live, they're everywhere.
Specific to
Everywhere.
Those cameras, there aren't a lot of them. License plate readers, there are definitely more of those.
I guess
there
it
are
depends
also
the city,
private folks who are running license plate readers as kind of a side hustle.
Really? That's interesting.
Oh yeah, they'll work them to
Pat
find
Randall.
stolen cars for repossessions, things like that. So that's not uncommon. The technology is out there, and there are other systems available to us as far as cameras go.
I think we need a good joke in all this darkness. We have missing little grannies who don't deserve it and missing children who are being eaten by humans running the world or raped or even touched. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Kat Randall says, I apologize if it's too soon, but with all the backpack talk, did anyone look into Dora the Explorer?
The Department of Transportation, there are companies out there that we can work with that have cameras that can provide us information.
PCP?
The bad thing is if we don't know what we're
The
looking
rug?
for, the cameras are just showing license plates and cars.
Right.
So we need more to go on, but if they can get something, then the technology.
Now, if you're into that kind of thing, let me know in the chat, but just know that I don't have your back and I'm probably calling the police, but I love you anyways.
Also there to start looking through those cameras and
If you're
see,
into that, maybe don't say
license plate
anything like
ABC
that.
123 went through it this time.
Yeah, and until you're here, you don't realize just how much brush there is. There's the cactuses. There's bushes. I mean, and the houses are set back off the road.
Yes.
So even if someone had a Ring camera,
Oh, Popcorn
it
Planet,
seems difficult
yeah.
that they would actually
I like
capture
them.
something on the roads in these neighborhoods.
In neighborhoods like this, yes, they're not the cookie cutter type neighborhoods where you can see right behind us nothing but brush. And so until you're on property walking up to the door, there's not a lot that you're going to see. You might get a little bit of movement at the street, but unfortunately, a lot of times in these types of neighborhoods, you're not getting what you really want. Something else I wanted to ask you about, Bob, is before we went out and witnessed what SWAT was doing last night, which was really impressive, by the way. You're the Pima team. I mean, I know you were the boss of the team, so I mean, it's impressive to see them in action. It's good to hear. But I heard a plane in the air, and I was told that Pima County has a surveillance plane. Do you think that was associated with the operation, and is that plane assisting right now? The sheriff's department does have a good aerial fleet. We have a good unit. We do have a plane. I don't know if it was up specifically last night, especially with the weather, but it very well could have been. It works hand in hand with our patrol. It works hand in hand on almost every SWAT mission that we would run, because having that aerial platform, again, going back to the primary goal of making that scene safe for the investigators, it's up there. It's looking for people who might be running, leaving the scene. If it was a plane and it saw a vehicle leave prior to the SWAT team getting there, they probably followed it, and that's what helped with the traffic stop on that vehicle. Do you think, Bob, that we're getting closer? I mean, the hope is, we're all out here, we want Nancy to be found. I hope we're getting closer, and I think we are. Every day, there's more information coming in. The investigators are able to follow up on more. Sooner or later, they're going to get that piece of evidence, no matter what it is. And it's just going to take time with as many pieces out there to sift through it. So the short answer is, yes, we are getting closer. That endpoint might not be for a while, or it could be this evening. Yeah. It's just a matter of time when we get there. I guess we'll see what happens.
We're getting closer, but it could be this evening. It could be 2072. So if we're no longer here anymore, then I don't know what to tell you guys.
To when all of this began. Sunday, January 31st, just about 30 minutes before sunset, Nancy
This
Guthrie
video is, I think it says it's titled The Timeline, right, Anton?
travels by Uber to the home of her oldest daughter, Annie. After dinner and games, son-in-law Tommaso Sioni brings her home. The time is 9:48. 2 minutes pass, and the 84-year-old's garage door closes. After midnight, Monday, February 1st, a masked, armed man approaches Nancy's door. Head down, he focuses in
Ryan Anton, you're so good.
on the home's doorbell camera, then turns back to grab foliage in a clumsy attempt to cover the device.
There's no question that this was planned.
By 1:47 a.m., that Nest Cam is disconnected. At 2:12 a.m., another house camera detects movement. 16 minutes later, 2:28, Nancy's pacemaker disconnects from the app on her phone. Later that morning, a friend who regularly hosts Nancy to watch a streamed church service alerts the family that she's absent. 11:56, family goes to Nancy's home to investigate. 7 minutes later, 911 is called.
Nancy Debrick, 84-year-old white female, 5'4", 150, brown and blue, last name wearing unknown clothing.
12:15, sheriff's deputies arrive at Nancy's house and the search begins.
Working overnight, Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's 84-year-old mother, now at the center of a missing persons case.
Monday, February 2nd, the nation wakes to learn of Guthrie's family's nightmare. The Today Show begins without Savannah and with grave news.
And our thoughts and our prayers are with our dear friend and colleague and her family this morning.
We saw some things at the home that were concerning to us.
9 a.m., the Pena County Sheriff's press conference is carried live from coast to coast.
This is a 84-year-old lady who suffers from some physical ailments, is in need of medication that if she doesn't have in 24 hours, it could be fatal.
A local TV station receives a ransom note
Hell
with
yeah.
specific details about what Nancy was wearing and with 2 distinct deadlines.
We're gathering some DNA samples to get those to our crime lab. But yes, it's evident to us that she was moved from that house against her will.
By the next day, Tuesday, February 3rd,
We need the 911 call for whoever called her in. We need the footage from who opened the garage door. Was it even Nancy? Because my theory says no, it wasn't Nancy. It wasn't. It could have been the guy, whoever was at the door breaking in, right? Or trying to, with the camera. Maybe somebody else was there. I believe they were already there before Nancy even got home, if she even got home. Breaking news, no updates. It's fucked up. Everything's a distraction. This is a really good, this adds a little mystery, this
Sheriff
clip.
updates News Nation
I like
about
it.
that DNA.
It confirmed that the DNA that we found belonged to Nancy, Savannah's mom.
It's announced that Savannah will be pulling out of Olympics coverage, and she asked the nation, just pray on Instagram. While sheriff's helicopters circle, News Nation brings viewers a sobering scene. We were able to get up close to the house right near the front door, and there is blood. There is a blood trail near the front door of Nancy Guthrie's house. Wednesday, February 4th, days after the crime scene is released, law enforcement converges with dogs, a perimeter, and investigators all over the property.
Are they getting things in the garage, or are they just using it to go in and out?
And love for her daughters and family.
Nancy's neighbors gather in prayer.
Hang in there, Nancy. You got this.
President Trump posts pledging immediate federal support.
On behalf of our family.
Why is this so weird?
And for the first time, we hear from the anguished family directly addressing the kidnapper.
She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Thursday, February 5th sees a meager
Why does she quote Silence of the Lambs?
reward for information bump up to $50,000. Deputies canvass behind Annie Guthrie's home. A 5 p.m. ransom deadline comes and goes, and Nancy's only son posts a message.
Whoever is out there holding our mother,
Why not pay the $66,000?
we want to hear from you.
The FBI deploys digital
cares?
billboards on Friday, February 6th. Nancy's car is towed. We learn another ransom note goes to a local TV station.
Is it, written by the same person? It's very difficult to tell.
And reporters aboard Air Force One get a briefing.
We have some clues, I think, that are very strong, and I think we could have some answers coming up fairly soon.
Sir, I have a question about the allegations in the Epstein files.
Saturday, February 7th, brings a flurry of activity both at Nancy and Annie Guthrie's home.
So I'm outside Annie Guthrie's house. Saw camera flashes from inside the house coming from the windows. So
Nancy's children release another emotional video.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us.
The septic tank behind Nancy's home.
No, they want 1 Bitcoin, aka $66,000, dude.
Searched on Sunday the 8th.
Thank you for watching.
I'm sorry. Who knows what they told him, Ellie? I know. Let's go back to Brian Enton. Hasn't Savannah treated some people shady? Maybe it's payback. Who knows? If you listen, they're talking like she's already dead. I know. When they're like, let's celebrate her. You mean like she's passed away or her birthday from weeks ago? What exactly are you celebrating? Do they have proof it's legit? Dude, I wouldn't care to lose $66,000 if it wasn't. Like, I'd at least try, right? Or no? When you're worth like 80 million? Because I think with her and her husband, maybe like he worked for the Clintons, so he has good money. Oh, okay, maybe like if she's worth 45-50 million allegedly, I would say yeah. Pretty spot on, probably. I'm not being unsympathetic either. It's just the truth now. Like, I'm so over it. In the media shoving shit on our face. It's not even realistic. And the going back and forth and such a public case. And why isn't anybody reporting on Epstein files just like they're reporting on Nancy? Someone said there's a sheriff helicopter. Oh, here, I'll play it. Let me share the screen. The sheriff helicopter is flying really low. I wonder if they had the device on this flight. Pima County Sheriff says exhausting search for Guthrie could take years, hours to years. We confirmed earlier today from Pima County Sheriff's Department that a traffic stop was conducted last night in connection to Nancy case. No arrests have been made. We saw the FBI, Pima County Marina Police investigating the Range Rover. We saw that last night, getting towed. I mean, there's not a lot on, there's a lot more on Epstein on X than we just watched this clip. Brian Enton. Okay, so they're saying that this person who reported last night is a fraud. I don't know. That's what everybody's saying. I will plead the fifth on that one tonight. Nancy Guthrie lived on her own. How was she tested by some of her family? We don't know. Was there a meeting that night between finances? Why did the family not pick her up? She had to hire an Uber driver. I don't trust Annie and her husband. That's just a comment. I don't know. A lot of people don't trust them.
House. Just kind of found like a quiet place up here off the main drag to talk to you guys. And I kind of wanted to go over everything new that I've learned today in relation to what happened last night. You guys remember last night was this crazy, basically SWAT raid that I got in the middle of. There were two people detained at a house about 2 miles from here, 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's house. a man and a woman. It's my understanding that it was a mom and son. They went to the house with the SWAT team. It was a massive presence, and the man and the woman, again, I believe it's a mom and a son from what I'm hearing, came out and there was no issue. They basically, came out, didn't resist at all, and were questioned. And then at the same time, there was a traffic stop very close by outside of Culver's, which is like a fast food place, where another man was stopped and detained and questioned. And that person also has a connection back to the house where the other two were detained, where the SWAT team was. So new today, I am learning from the sheriff. I was texting with the sheriff this morning, the Pima County Sheriff, Chris Nanos. He said that there were no arrests, that they were working off of a lead, that's what started all of this, and that they have not located Nancy Guthrie. And I learned later in the day that it was a federal search warrant that they were conducting at that house, which makes sense to me because I saw a ton of FBI there, and then I saw even more FBI arrive about an hour after the initial SWAT teams arrived. And it was a federal search warrant, which I'm going to talk to Steve Moore, my friend who's a retired FBI agent who has done a ton of these search warrants in his career, about sort of what he sees, what stands out to him about what happened last night. But just so you guys know, when it's a federal search warrant, that means almost always a judge, a federal judge or federal magistrate has to sign the warrant, which means
That's why I said at the beginning, who's the judge signing off on this shit if the people don't have anything to do with it? Because if they did, you would have arrested them. So did they just keep getting the wrong people, or what's going on?
Has to be things in that warrant that justify the search, and it can't just
search warrant. I guess they searched somebody's house last night and they had SWAT, and then there's the whole Dolly thing, and then there's the whole someone unalived themselves.
Just be something vague usually, and Steve is going to explain that. So while the sheriff is saying there were no arrests, that doesn't mean that this is necessarily over, and that's what my sources are also saying, that they are still investigating whatever brought them to that house last night. And that they look at the electronics, likely got DNA from people, and they can try and connect that DNA back to Nancy Guthrie's house. Because remember, we were told that there was DNA found inside Nancy Guthrie's house that does not belong to Nancy Guthrie and does not belong to anyone close to her. So it is a stranger's DNA, perhaps the kidnapper's DNA. So they can now go, when they get these tips and these people that they want to talk to, they can swab them for DNA, and then they can compare to the DNA in the house. And you're going to hear Steve explain this in a second.
Okay.
But what happens is if there's a search warrant on the house, that's different than a search warrant getting someone's DNA. But if they show up to your house with a search warrant, they may just say, hey, can we voluntarily swab your mouth? And if you had nothing to do with it, and you're like, why are you even at my house to begin with? You'd think that most people would cooperate and just let the FBI swab to just sort of like clear them.
You're telling me that they can get the president, what's his name? The one that was just captured? The Venezuelan guy, Maduro. You're telling me they can find Maduro and get him, but not the person who kidnapped Nancy?
Because we know they've swabbed a lot of people for DNA so far. The sheriff has said that. Just trying to rule people out, essentially. So all of that is going on behind the scenes involving what we saw last night. And if you want the full debrief on the whole SWAT operation, go back and take a look at my episode from, sorry, I thought I heard something. Go back and look I'm like scared of rattlesnakes out here. I know that's crazy. I don't even know if there are rattlesnakes, but like I'm not a desert guy. I'm from Florida, so like every little noise, I'm like used to gators and that kind of thing, but these desert like critters I'm not used to. So that's why I thought I heard.
We'll protect you, Brian.
Something, but
only
if you want the full lowdown on the SWAT situation, go back and look at my video from last night, and I'll walk you through everything that happened. But again, no arrests. It was a federal search warrant, and I am told by sources that there's still an investigation ongoing involving it, although, no one was arrested. They were detained for questioning and let go, essentially. Also, there was a Range Rover, which is interesting.
Didn't they also find Osama bin Laden in like a tunnel? I can't exactly remember. Grow up.
That was also close to where the traffic stop was, that was processed by the FBI very, very carefully. and
That's
and then
funny.
towed away. And we're trying to find out the relevance of that and how that connects into all of this. So I'll keep you posted on all of that. I'm joined now by Steve Moore, retired FBI agent. It's nice to see you, Steve. I'm still in Arizona, right near Nancy's house right now. But I was really anxious to talk to you because, you know, we were out all night, basically following the SWAT team around. You know, we were being respectful. We stayed back, but we ended up in the perimeter where they went into that house, brought a man and a woman out. I believe it was a mother and son. They came out willingly. There was no flashbangs. There was no like use of force. And then there was another traffic stop close by where a man was detained. So there were 3 people total detained, questioned, and no arrests. I texted with the sheriff this morning, and he said we were following up on leads, no arrests, and we still haven't found Nancy. So what do you make of it? Because we saw this happen with the Carlos guy from Rio Rico. What do you think is going on here?
Yeah.
There's something about whatever these 2 situations showed law enforcement. There's something about them that fit their theory of the crime or theory of the suspect is my guess. If you know, it could be somebody's come up with a profile, and you know, both of these guys, both of these residences they hit had a mom with her son living with her. So maybe we've got a profile that we're looking for somebody with a certain criminal background or not, who's living with their mom at home. I've seen profiles specifically that said you'll be living with the mom and not the dad. I've even seen one that says he used to live with his mom, but now he's living with
living with your mom or your dad, I don't think determines a killer, guys.
Aunt, because the mom and he couldn't even live together. They can get very specific. And I'm not saying that if that's their profile, I'm not saying it's their profile, but if it is, I'm not saying that that they've got the wrong profile. It's just that not everybody who meets that profile is your bad guy. And so they're having to balance, you know, how close do we think this meets the totality of the circumstances? And are we willing to tire our folks out, frazzle the public and things like that, for another shot at another bite at this apple?
Yeah, and by the way, the sheriff confirmed today that it was a federal search warrant at that house last night also. Does that mean that a judge or a magistrate had to sign off? And does that mean that there had to be some meat on the bones?
Yes, absolutely. The FBI cannot just go out and write a search warrant for themselves and sign it. Actually, the FBI is different. They actually do. Agents write their own search warrants much of the time. They just have to bring it to a judge and have the judge or the magistrate sign it. So this had to have, as you said, some meat on the bones, had to have something that would give a reasonable magistrate, and that's a high bar, by the way, reasonable magistrate the belief that they would find something related to this crime at that house. So it wasn't just some agent or some deputy getting together and saying, hey, you know what, we haven't looked at that house. You know, it's literally thought through, shown to a magistrate, the magistrate agrees, and they sign it. So there was.
So why are they signing it? They can just search your house like that with SWAT if you're not even being charged or anything. Like, don't they have to have some kind of evidence on you?
Something there. There's no doubt about it, but it wasn't what they were looking for.
One thing I've thought about.
So then they got it wrong.
Is with Carlos, the guy from Rio Rico, and we went out there too. He was saying how he was a delivery driver and may have been in that area where
where Nancy lives, and we know that they're doing all sorts of cell phone tracking, and they can track I think they can track what phones have been close to Nancy's house.
I get that they have to track every lead, but I feel like maybe they're looking at the wrong leads. Like, still Carlos had nothing to do with it. Okay, maybe he did deliver a package, but he's clear now. Like, I think every person that they get wrong, it just is more time. It's already 14 days in. Nancy's without her meds. Nancy's not getting the sleep she needs. Nancy's not getting the care she needs. She might not even be eating the foods she needs. She might not even be with us anymore. And I know that sounds really harsh, but
do you think that you mentioned a profile, but could that also be a way that they are trying to narrow the scope here and come up with targets?
Yeah, I think that's very possible. And it's kind of funny. Investigators tend to have things that they rely.
you know how they say, like, when a missing person, it's like the first, what is it, like 72 hours, 24, 48? I think every hour is critical, right? How do you know unless you check? I mean, I guess. It's just the second time. That they cause like a commotion. You're not being harsh, Smelly, you're being real. Yeah, like if they're unsure, then don't have SWAT go in there and set up this whole scene. Like, pull them in for questioning, go to their home, knock on their door, like not in that manner, and like detaining people. And I don't know, I just feel like they're being unfair in the information they're giving us. Then why didn't they check door to door immediately? Yeah, I thought that was already done too. When they said like the first week that they were going door to door and looking into the neighborhood, I figured they had already done all of that. So when they said the neighbor down the street, I'm thinking, wasn't he already scoped out and vetted out? Because that would be the first place they would look, right? In the neighborhood. Family, first of all, who was the last person seen? And family, even though they don't like to say that. And then the neighborhood, right? You would think, and then maybe acquaintances from church or vice versa.
On individual guy. One person may rely more on profiling information. One may rely more on cell phone information, something where they feel that they understand it really well. And some agents are really good at that kind of stuff. It's kind of like some baseball players are better fielders than hitters. It's just what you lean on. So it's possible that they're looking at that at the phone records. But again, it can't be just one thing. He was in that area there were hundreds of people in the vicinity of that house, that night. So you have to line it up and get 2 or 3 at minimum other circumstances that also ties you there. You're looking for patterns.
So for a warrant that they would have had to get, since we know it was a federal search, you're saying they would have to have several things? Like how high is the bar?
It can be frustratingly high, I can tell you. You have to show that the person that you're looking at him for this reason. And you might say, hypothetically, his phone was in that area. He's made threats. He has actually been in that house, possibly. He meets this profile, although I don't think a profile is going to be admissible on that. So you would have to show actual verifiable facts that would indicate that this not only is this person involved, but the evidence of that crime would be found at that location. So it would actually be a warrant for the location, not the person, but the person who is living there you would have to explain why that house would contain it.
So maybe the fact that the sheriff is saying no arrests, maybe that doesn't mean that this is over in terms of what they were interested in with these people and with this house. I mean, could it just be they didn't make an arrest yet, but there might still be some part of what happened last night that's useful?
No, because if they searched like they did last night and they didn't make an arrest, you don't think that someone would try to run for it? Or like escape, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's been some statement since then that I have not seen. I, like you, was up most of the night. I think you got less sleep than me, though. I think that what is possible is that they did find evidence of the crime in the house. I'm not alleging that. I'm just saying that they haven't said that this was a complete waste of our time. We're sorry to the people. We don't know how we got this information. That's not what they're saying. They're saying that we've made no arrests. So it's very possible.
And I saw, because I was there, I saw the SWAT teams and sort of the initial, there's probably 24, and there was some FBI, but 24 law enforcement, I would say, in total that went first to the house. They came out, the man and the woman. And then I would say about an hour later, like a sort of a convoy of FBI agents arrived in black trucks, but also like those evidence kind of units that I also saw at Nancy Guthrie's house a couple days ago. What does that mean that they arrived an hour later?
It's a good question. I took it yesterday to mean in real time that this was a planned operation, that this was a lead that was generated, that was obviously looked at carefully enough. You have to go get a magistrate, warrant from a magistrate. So it was something that they had planned to do.
Yeah.
They got everybody lined up. And one of the trademarks of a federal operation is that the cars are literally lined up nose to tail all the way back. It'll be led by the SWAT vehicles if you're going to use them. And then law enforcement to set up roadblocks and stuff. And you'll just come in like a convoy. The fact that the convoy came in later, like an hour later, indicates to me that either that was part of the plan, we're going to secure the area, then we'll call you in after the interviews, that may have been part of it, or it was a fast moving thing. And so while the area was getting secured by tactical teams, they were briefing up all the agents and detectives who were going to go in and setting up an ops plan. And then they came in once everybody was lined up.
If they took phones, can they hold on to those for a while?
Yeah, but they don't really need to unless they're looking for physical evidence on the phone. They can mirror those pretty quickly and basically get every single thing that's on that phone onto their drives fairly quickly. So you can return them, unless you're looking for physical evidence on the phone.
And we learned yesterday that they found DNA in Nancy's house that's not Nancy's DNA and not DNA connected to someone in her circle, or, it's a stranger's DNA, it sounds like. So I'm assuming last night they would probably swab these people, their DNA, don't you think? Would that be something that would be important?
Yeah, and unless they had a warrant for that, it would be a voluntary thing. You have to get a warrant for buccal swabs and things like that, where they swab the inside of your mouth. So yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so they losing my voice here.
No, you're fine.
They would have gotten that kind of stuff, DNA evidence, things like that, anything they needed while they were there. And if the people were cooperating, you'd get as much as you can.
Yeah, and I guess if they showed up to my house and I had nothing to do with this, like what Carlos said the other night, why not let them do the swab? I mean, you almost want them to prove that, hey, I'm not the guy.
Yeah.
You help yourself if you
That's what I said.
Prove to be cooperative. If you don't, because and some people won't, because they say you're invading my privacy, you have no right to be. I mean, I've seen this where you say you shouldn't even be here and I'm not even going to cooperate with you, and you say, listen, you're not helping yourself. This just means we're going to have to do it the hard way. We'll be here longer. Please just cooperate. And but some people get and I understand they get offended by the invasion of their privacy.
What about the public perception of this? Because after the Rio Rico,
I might be crazy. Call me if you want, respectfully. I keep connecting it to the Epstein files because I keep seeing your guys' comments. Yeah, Savannah, the last interview she did was with Virginia. And then Virginia allegedly unalived herself. I realize we do not know all the steps they have taken, but seems like they didn't bring their A game. Alicia says, I read somewhere that Savannah is thinking about leaving the Today Show. Yes, and I told Cree the other day that I think her and her husband are going to end up leaving the United States. Yes, please do hit the like button. Did Savannah do? Yeah, Savannah interviewed, I think, like 13 of the Jeffrey Epstein victims. Okay, don't knock me on the number. I don't know if I'm right about 13. Something up there, okay? I know Virginia was one of the last, if not the last. Nobody is talking about those files. I have a video dropping on Ashley Banfield tomorrow because love Ashley Banfield, but like just address it. Just tell the world you wanted to get at Jeffrey Epstein and you wanted to get in his pants and then you're over it and move on because like it just needs to be addressed. You have the liberty to speak on everybody else's lives and crimes, but you're not going to address that. I think it's a slap in the face to the people that support her channel. I really do. Like, if you're going to have a platform, at least be honest. Which I could see why I'm not everyone's cup of tea, you know? Some people don't like. My mind has gone into that direction once or twice. Yeah, I think that they're going to leave the country. They're going to end up saying like, oh, we're leaving the country for safety reasons. No, not really. Ashley Banfield. So I just think like address it. Just address it and move on. Same with Harvey from TMZ. He's in the Epstein files. He wants to act like he's getting ransom notes. I don't know. Are they fake? Question mark, question mark. How do we know they're even real? Is he even telling the truth? I don't know. It's a bit much. It's getting to the point where, all right, I'm not that fucking dumb. Like, I know it could be a distraction. It's not knocking that Nancy's gone. It's really not. Like, I hope Nancy's found and I hope she's found alive. I really do. Like, I think Nancy is completely innocent in this, but could it have been revenge? Nancy was a very political person as well, just like her daughter, Savannah. Ashley Banfield, yeah, she's in the Epstein files. She was trying to get at Epstein. Thank you, Jakey, to my favorite channel in chat. Aw, love you, Jakey. Thank you for supporting. I appreciate you so much. Q says it's probably related to the E-files. All the people in those files are still around and very powerful. It's their way of making a point. Thank you, Kat Randall. I've missed you. Ashley's not a favorite of mine. Texas businessman bought Zorro Ranch. Yeah, and do you guys know about him? I've been doing a lot of deep diving on that. So we might cover that tomorrow. Thank you, Kat Randall. 15 months? Wow. We're long-term, baby. Long-term. Thank you, Kat Randall. I appreciate you. I love all my day winners. Hey, Millie. Hey, Ramon. Hope you have gotten your roses today. Oh, you're so sweet. No, who's going to be my Valentine? I want to know Obama's involvement with Epstein. There is. What does she do with Epstein? Ashley Banfield? Nothing. Doesn't mean she's incriminating herself. She was trying to get at him, though, like date him or sleep with him. I don't know. Or both. Do we blame her? Yes, we do. Because it was after he was convicted for pedophilia. If it was before, I might say, you know what, girl? I don't blame you for trying to get in his pants. He got a lot of money. A lot of money. Shit, if he wasn't a pedophile, I might even take him up on it. it's just the truth. I mean, what is he like, $800 billion or some shit? Close your eyes and envision, and for women, and like, what would you do if you had that kind of money? Or a man or a female that had that kind of money? You know what I'm saying? Ew, really? If he was younger, the younger version, and no PDF file, yes. But he's not that person. So it's like a figment of my imagination. No money. I thought you'd be out and about. No, for Valentine's Day. Is that a pic of Brian? Yes, we're reviewing. Yeah, baby. Yeah, let me know if it's lagging on your end or my end.
Search and sort of raid that we were out at. You know, a lot of people were already being hard on law enforcement and the sheriff and the FBI, saying, gosh, this is like not a good investigation. And then they're like, oh my gosh, this was all a waste. And now we've seen another event where it hasn't resulted in an immediate arrest, and it hasn't resulted in finding Nancy. Do you think they're taking that into consideration behind the scenes, or are they just solely focused on the investigation, or do they realize, like, if they keep doing these raids without any thing to show for it, like, people start to lose faith?
Yeah,
I'm losing faith.
You know, it's funny how law
I'm losing
enforcement
faith.
views that. The FBI is very insular, and their thought on this might be, well, they don't have to follow us to go to these places. We're just doing our job, you know. But the sheriff's department is more invested in the community. When you think about it, the sheriff has to be elected. His people are in town every single day, you know, by the dozens, patrolling, things like that. So if there's a tension between the citizens of Tucson and the sheriff's office, that really strongly affects the sheriff's office, and it could affect the job of the sheriff. So the sheriff's office is going to be much more attuned to the citizens and their beliefs about this kind of thing and their frustration.
And I'm a little, you know, with the whole investigation stuff, I'm a little surprised actually the Guthries haven't said anything, because like, why aren't they making any more statements? I would be furious if this was my mom. I know that they're trying to like respect the investigation and law enforcement, but this is just next level. It's next level. Like, I would be like, what are you doing? What's going on? Like, it's in the media that much, it's going to be criticized, and there's going to be things. And I'm just surprised nobody has made a statement, even if law enforcement is telling them to be quiet. Like, if they're not doing things appropriately or up to par, I would speak up if it was my family member, let alone my 84-year-old mother who birthed me out of her womb.
The FBI has a culture of putting your head down, getting the job done. And if we screw up, we screw up. But generally we don't, and we're going to get it done as fast as we can. And dealing with the community is really not our job. We're investigators. So I think in this modern internet world here, where people are following these things so closely, and the press is following it for them so closely, the FBI is, if they're the agency I used to work for, is probably realizing we're going to have to do some work on how we deal with the public and expectations and things like this, because going forward, it's not the same world where Walter Cronkite read the news and you just listened. It's almost like everybody has their own home game version.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. And you talk about the difference between the sheriff and the FBI too. I mean, the sheriff is elected, sort of has to keep people happy to a certain extent. There's a certain level of like politics involved, where, you know, he probably wants progress in some ways for different reasons than the FBI.
Yeah, you know, my dad, coincidentally, when I was like 5 years old, my dad was transferred into Phoenix as an FBI agent. We were there exactly 18 months, and he was transferred to San Francisco, and then he was transferred to New York. I mean, you don't really generally bond with a community in that time. You just work your cases and go. And so, yeah, there is a completely different dynamic between the two agencies. And this explains some of the potential tension between the two agencies. Like, and I'm just speaking hypothetically, but last night, say the sheriff said, listen, we owe the people an explanation of what we're doing here. Let's do a release. And the FBI, who seems to be having more control of the case than the sheriff's department or sheriff's office does, says, we're not going to tell people what we're doing here. We don't want, people to start driving around and looking at this place. We're just not going to make a statement. And the sheriff might have said at that point, you don't understand. This could cost me an election down the line. I have responsibilities that you don't have. And, those are the things that cause tension and may have been part of the reason that the sheriff's department was so invested in sending DNA to a lab in Florida instead of sending it to the FBI lab.
The fact that what we saw last night, you had the house hit, they went into the house, got the people, the two targets out at the same time they did the traffic stop close by with the other man, who I think was related to the people in the house too and had just gone to get food, is what I'm hearing. But it happened simultaneously.
Right.
Why would they have done it that way? Like, why wait till that guy's out going to get food and get him and then get the two in the house at the same time? Why not just wait till he got back? Or it seemed like that was planned.
I don't think it necessarily was. I mean, because if you can get somebody at their own home, it's a lot safer for everybody than getting somebody at a traffic stop at a fast food restaurant. You can put people in danger that way. However, when you're dealing with 20-some SWAT operators and maybe 40 or 50 agents, deputies, and evidence teams, once that battleship gets moving, it's hard to stop it. And so when they say we're going to hit the house right at, say, 6:10 or 8:10 or 9:15, whatever, everything is moving and you just can't stop it at that point, except to say the whole operation's off. You can't just park 40 cars on the side of a major thoroughfare and say, we'll wait, because it's a Friday night. People are out. People are going to call. You're just tipping your hand. And so this is not unusual to say, hey, the person we were looking for just boogied. They likely had a surveillance team watching the house and said, hey, one person just left. And the case agent, if I were the case agent, would say, send somebody with him, follow him, let us know. We'll come hook him up wherever you find him. And so I think that's likely what happened.
I read that the sheriff said this morning that, and it's interesting when he does interviews, he says something a little different each time, it seems. But he said, we could find Nancy in days, or this could take years, which I thought was an interesting comment. What is your sense? I mean, they're obviously making progress. They released the photos, those photos from the camera. They're, doing these raids and search warrants. But do you think they're getting closer?
Yes, I think they're getting closer.
14 days. I don't know. I thought they were more equipped than this, the FBI. Really, these people are essentially trained spies. Thank you, Q, but need help communicating with the public. It makes no sense. Absolutely no sense.
And I think the speed at which they're getting closer is rising. It's, anybody who's done crossword puzzles or jigsaw puzzles realize that right at the beginning, you've just got no help. Once you get just a few words and stuff, you get the frame around it. Now what do we do? And I think they've got the point where they've got the frame done and they're looking for a couple of big pieces. And once you get those pieces, everything seems to fall in line after that. And so I think we're to the point where larger pieces are going to start to fall. And I don't think this is going to go cold. I've been wrong in the past, but I just, there's too much out there for this to go very cold with today's technology.
Especially with that DNA that they found. I mean, that seems like, I think back to the Idaho case when they did the ancestral DNA. I mean, even if you're not in a database now, they can find your third cousin.
I feel like
and
it is a
then
psyop.
back in that way.
Yeah. Or as I found, I had a
I
third
do.
cousin that I didn't know about. So
I said that to somebody recently. I said, this is now starting to feel like a psyop.
yeah, you find all sorts of things out through that. And again, I'm like everyone else, I'm hoping that DNA is from the suspect. But it's not just that. It's the technology to pick up lost video from that Ring camera.
Yeah, that
They
is a-
are and being able to find out where things were purchased. And I think that's going to bear fruit. I suspect you're going to find that a lot of things were purchased in the general area, and that helps you zone in on, you say, well, this was purchased at that Walmart and this was purchased at that other store. And the only area where that Walmart is closest and that other store is closer than other brand stores is in this area. And so you start just zeroing in. And I think they're getting more and more zeroed in every day.
What was the FBI doing inside the house in terms of the search?
Yeah.
And people think this is all going to be done like a CSI show so quickly. Like, how long does it all take?
An evidence response team full processing of a scene is not an hour or two thing. It can be days, if depending on how much time and how much access they have. About 5 years before I left the FBI, I remember I was assigned as a helicopter pilot for a while, and we had a body found at a national park, extremely rural. And I ended up flying evidence teams in there every day for a week, and they stayed 8 hours every day. That was for a single campsite. When you're talking a home where the amount of space that you need to process, like if you're looking for DNA, that could be as much as little as a skin flake or something like that. Now look at the room around you that you're sitting in, or your car you're sitting in, and find out how long it would take you to find every flake of skin in that room or in that car. So it could be, depending on how exhausting.
But none of the alleged crime scenes, not Nancy's house, was set up like a crime scene, and neither was the place last night. Maybe, but I mean, was there forensics teams on? I believe somebody said they were present, but I'm shocked they haven't shown a vehicle. Nothing. There's nothing. We're literally going, we have nothing. We don't even know if that was her who opened the garage door. We don't even know if she was in the house when that person was breaking in. All we have is that video from the subject. And then Carlos's detainment and released. This is why they're trying to censor you, Melly. You catch on. It seems like they are not really trying. I hate to say that, but this is ridiculous. Yeah. It makes no sense. And if the police department there and the FBI can't figure it out, could they call in other resources? Who are the other resources? Like other state police departments? The CIA? I mean, the video of the suspect was AI. No, that was real. But I mean, that's all we have. That's all we have. The video of the dude was nighttime. The one that was breaking into the house. Yeah, that was nighttime. I don't think what they release is the lesser of the evil committed. They give us a nugget. And if they have more and they want the public's help, then they should give the other footage that they have. Are the sheriffs and FBI sharing data now, or is there still static? I guess they're still static, but I guess they're working together. But
If they're going to be, it could be days, it could be a week.
Would they be looking at these subjects, the people who they're questioning? How important would their criminal histories be in terms of forming a profile?
That's very, very important.
And what about the DNA? They said they're testing DNA. Okay, so you got DNA from the crime scene then, is what you're saying. Because if you're comparing that to other people's DNA, aka Carlos and everybody else, then you have something to go off of. So what DNA did you find other than Nancy's? Because allegedly that was her blood at the front door. But you have DNA that you're testing for what? What do you mean? So where did you get DNA? And do you have DNA and you just can't make a match because the person's not in the database? And if so, why aren't you saying that? What are you going off of? They're like, oh, DNA. Oh, the suspects last night, they were being investigated, looked at, search warrant, no arrest. Okay, but so why do you need people's DNA? They're saying that the glove's not even possibly related. So, which makes it even more confusing. When I wander off, no one will find me. Yeah, Cat Randall, I'll find you. I need a timeline. I gave you that timeline. Should I pull it back up? You mean from that night, Evie? I have a very in-depth timeline. Like minute by minute timeline. From that night. Is that what you want? Sheriffs won't share the DNA with the FBI, but that might have changed. Yes, no. Yeah, I have a timeline from that night. I know in one of the lives we went through it, but I have a timeline for the disappearance and the investigation, like hour by hour. So we could get into that.
Potentially huge, because part of the profile indicates oh crap. Part of the profile is based on their propensity to do this. It's not like somebody just comes out of nowhere and says, I just thought of something, kidnapping. You know, I'm leaving art school, I'm going to try kidnapping. No, it's people who have a propensity to it, and they move in stages towards the crime. So in this case, what you potentially could be looking for is somebody who is a burglar, because kidnapping, especially out of a home, involves a type of burglary. And so you're looking for propensity and history of similar actions. And those things really are predictors of what the person might do, as well as skills they might have. So I would be very surprised, especially after looking at that video, if part of a profile didn't include histories of certain crimes that intellectual or intuitively I'd say would be burglary. But again, I'm not a profiler, so I could be wrong on that. But I would say that anytime you see somebody with a long criminal record, you are literally right in the middle of the profile for that person.
We saw a surveillance plane before all this went down. A fixed wing. It was high up, and it was circling. Do you think that was involved? How does that connect back?
Yeah, that was involved almost certainly, because as I said, one thing you never want to do is show up at a house where you want to do a search warrant and hook up some people and interview them and find that they're not home. You always need to make sure before you hit the place that the people you're looking for are there. So what they do is they put surveillance teams out, and these are really high-speed, low-drag units. You're not going to see them for if they could be on you for days and you wouldn't see them. And one of the things that
if you're doing that, wouldn't you think you're going to make some type of arrest?
They do is they have planes up, and the planes tell the people down below how to stay out of the view of the car they're following. Half the time during an FBI surveillance, the car that's closest to the person that's being surveilled is not even within sight of it. And the plane just keeps the cars close until the person goes into a residence or something like that. And then the cars can zoom in and pick it up from there. But that would indicate to me not so much that SWAT was using the airplane, although they can. It indicates to me, confirms to me that they did have surveillance on the house, and that plane probably as that person left and went to the fast food place, went with that individual and 2 or 3 vehicles.
As always, I really appreciate Steve for chatting.
Based on the video of the suspect posing in front of the camera, taking their time, sort of looks like someone decided to kidnap on the way home. I'm reading your guys' comments. Are they still asking for Bitcoin? I don't even know what that's the thing is. We haven't even heard from TMZ, I think, since that situation.
9 a.m. on the East Coast. Welcome back, Fox and Friends Weekend. If you were just
This is the
joining us
last
this
clip
morning,
on Nancy that we're going to watch, and then we're going to get a little bit into Epstein.
we're monitoring a possible major breakthrough in the Nancy Guthrie case. Overnight, law enforcement swarming a Tucson home just 2 miles from the missing 84-year-old's residence.
Law enforcement sources telling Fox News Digital that at least
Oh, and I'll
3
go through the
people
timeline too.
from that house
Abby.
have been detained, but it's still unknown what, if any, evidence was found in the home at this hour.
A 4th person was also detained outside a Culver's fast food restaurant not far from Nancy's home. Officials have not yet confirmed if this is connected to the investigation. But an interesting development we are following this morning is that officers towed the man's Range Rover after covering the trunk with a tarp as they appeared to search it. It's unknown at this time if any of all of these 4 individuals are indeed suspects. Former ATF Special Agent in Charge Bernie Zapor says this represents significant progress towards cracking the case.
No, nobody is in custody. They let Carlos go, and then the people from last night, I guess, they weren't worthy of an arrest. All LE are human beings, and there are many protocols, but sheriff in over his head. I agree, Alicia, in over his head, for sure.
The execution of the search warrant, the seizing or examination of the Range Rover, there's a lot more happening on the other side of it. You can see momentum, and you can see that they're running things to completion, and that shows progress. They have something here that is developing, and these large overt actions such as the search warrant and the vehicle signify that.
All of this comes as we mark a full 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie was last seen.
2 weeks today.
Let's get straight to Morgan Wright. He is outside of Pima County Sheriff's Office. He's the CEO and founder of the National Center for Open and Unsolved Cases, and he is the host of Crime Reconstructed, which is a podcast. Morgan, so great to have you on again. You've been giving us some great reporting throughout this show. All of this, does it point to you that we're coming really close to solving this case?
You know, I was trying to think of the line that Winston Churchill used, but basically we've reached the end of the beginning. So this case is just starting, right? So
the end
a
of
lot
the
of activity
beginning.
up to this point, and then so from this point is when the really hard work is done that goes on behind the scenes that you don't see. It's the evidence collection, it's the evidence analysis, it's going through the reports, it's evaluating witness statements, it's creating additional leads to follow. It's about then the forensic examination of all digital media. I can tell you right now, between where the Range Rover was seized, between Nancy's house, between the location of the search warrant, we're now going to start looking at the digital footprints. Does anything there match in common? For example, on the Range Rover, one quick way to establish a link to see if this Range Rover is related to the search warrant, does the registration come back?
No, last night nobody was even arrested. The house was just searched. Nobody was actually booked and taken into custody. So they just went and searched a house last night, and allegedly they didn't find the need to make an
House where the
arrest.
search warrant was done. Is that the
Which is
registered
weird.
owner? So those
Because
are
why go search a house if you're not planning to make an arrest and or find something? It's very
things,
odd.
If we find those things out, we can start establishing some links. But this is the visible part of the case. The invisible part of the case that's going to happen behind the walls here at the sheriff's office, that's going to happen in the district attorney's office, that's going to happen, in other areas in laboratories. That's what's going on now. We won't see anything from that.
No, there's no footage of her being dropped off, detained. Yeah. I guess detained at their own home, though. They did take the SUV, but they weren't arrested. So I guess detained in their home. Is that a thing? There's no video of her. No, when Annie or what's his name, Tommaso, the son-in-law. There's no video of them dropping off. That's why I said, like, do we even know it was Nancy who went in the garage? What if it was already one of the perpetrators?
Until they actually get results, and then the results are really going to be, it's going to be a report that's going to lead us then into different paths that we can take, different courses of action.
You know, Morgan, it was interesting because really the only information we've gotten from the Pima County Sheriff's Office was that
I think footage to the garage would obviously be really helpful, but again, they said that none of the footage was saved, and then they were able to save what they got on the back end. So I'm assuming they weren't able to get anything from like the garage.
in about 7 hours.
Maybe it wasn't in view of the camera, but I thought she had a camera on her roof. So multiple things going on here.
Saying that the search law enforcement activity at the home where the 3 individuals were detained was connected to the investigation. Then they added that per the request of the FBI, no additional information will be given. What do you make of that? It strikes me as odd that they went out of their way to highlight that the FBI does not want more details out there, as we, of course, are waiting for more details.
You know, you've just hit upon a key link that goes back to the Range Rover, because who was the primary agency involved in the seizure of the Range Rover? That was the FBI. The FBI, because you see, you know, Pima County was obviously doing the search warrant. They were the lead agency on that, but what we saw was the FBI taking the lead on the seizure of the Range Rover. So again, it's one of those things, I don't want to confuse causation and correlation, but all of these things are happening contemporaneously. They're happening at the same time. If the FBI has put out that statement, then one of my questions I would ask if we're at a press conference is, what is the relationship between the FBI taking the lead on seizing the Range Rover and the location of the residence, what's connected there? You know, and the other thing it tells me too is that there may be something, you know, we used to do this all the time. We didn't want to give out information. We would withhold information like manner of death, cause of death, because it would give away some of our investigative tactics. And so it may be is that there's something in that vehicle, that's why they covered it up, that is important to this case, if we're making that link, that they don't want known because it would give away, you know, basically inside baseball type of information that only the people involved in the crime would know. That's one of the plausible explanations you could come up with.
Right. You know, one of the things that we have not heard a lot of speculation about or talk about, certainly not from the sheriff's office, is cell phone data. And you know, I guess there are various reasons for that, but
could it be possible that they just don't have anything? Like they really just don't. They just have like some leads, some clues, and they have no idea where the hell Nancy is or who's responsible.
Once you have people in custody and you have people identified who are subjects of interest, suddenly cell phone data suddenly becomes a lot more useful in a situation like that. Explain that.
Well, actually, there's a lot of data that's already available from what's called ad tech, and that's one of the, I've got 2 analysts right now working on that. We're taking in all of the ad tech data, the mobile app data, the pings that mobile apps make, and that entire area, and we're looking to correlate. The other thing then with cell phones, when you're thinking of the signal from the cell phone, now I'm pinging the tower to determine where I am. That's going to be very critical. Now, to do that though, you just can't go and seize those phones and search those without a warrant. So part of the process was, did the search warrant allow for the seizure? And James was talking about it earlier, you know.
So I wonder if maybe those people's cell phone pinged around the area and that's why they did the raid last night, and maybe they had nothing to do with it. Question mark?
As the saying goes, you can't go looking for an elephant in a bread box. So does the warrant allow them to seize the phones, any electronic media, computers, things like that? But I'm telling you right now, once they have that, even without an arrest, you could still serve a subpoena on any of the carriers and say, I need information about subscriber information, and show me. There's the FBI cellular survey analysis team is going to take that information, and now you're going to start mapping out a pattern of life based upon where those devices were.
We've talked throughout this show about the psychology, not just of but these abductors, these people who have we believe might have intruded into this home and taken Nancy Guthrie. But we're also been talking about the psychology of all the investigators, the FBI, the local law enforcement, the sheriff's office. What does a breakthrough like this do to the investigation in terms of lifting hopes and getting people sort of, I mean, it's exhausting, 20,000 tips, running everything down, all these details, hitting walls earlier, you know, in week 1 and even into week 2 until this happened. Talk to me about that part of the investigation.
Let me give you a broader stat and I'll come into this.
Sure.
I don't think a lot of people hear a lot about line of duty deaths, about how many officers are killed in the line of duty each year. What people don't realize is on average, there's 3 times as many officers who commit suicide as are killed in the line of duty. And let me tell you, that comes from jobs like this. This comes from delivering the worst kind of news. I had to do that 3 times in 1 week. At the end of that week, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. When you knock on the door and have to give a family the worst news they've ever had in their life, with stuff like this, yeah, does it give you hope? Realistically, yes, but realistically, it's like, man, we still need to find Nancy. We still need to bring her home.
He's like,
wherever she is, whatever condition she's
yeah.
in. And so that's still the frustrating part. And I'll tell you, when you get home and you realize when you've seen enough death to last you 1,000 lifetimes, it's like when you go home, it's like James was saying earlier, you don't want to bring this home. You don't want to inflict this on your family. There's a great book out there called Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement. Dr. Kenneth Gilmartin. I give this to everybody. I gave it to my nephew, who's a police officer in St. Paul. You have to have emotional tools in this day and age to deal with the kind of things that you see. But this is some relief. But at the same time, it's the beginning. It's an adrenaline drop, a lot of fatigue, and then you got to get yourself back up and run another marathon.
Well, and more.
Interesting. Yeah, bring Nancy home. I know. Let's go through a quick timeline before we move over to Epstein. For Epstein, I'm just going to show you a couple clips that I found. We're going to look at some stuff with Ghislaine, and we'll watch a couple minutes of a clip. We're just going to touch base on, oops, I already pulled up. Let's go through this timeline though, just to make sure we have, all the information. So disappearance and investigation, January 31st, 5:32 p.m. Nancy travels to local family member's home in an Uber. Let me know, Evie, if this is the kind of timeline you wanted to look over. So what was the deal with that person last night? I don't know, Alicia, there's a lot of drama going on with that. And apparently a phantom that makes it seem like a Caucasian man with no style. I don't know. 5:32 p.m. Nancy travels to local family members' home in an Uber. So she gets a ride in an Uber to Annie's house, which we question that. Why, if Annie lives only 10 minutes away, would she get an Uber? Less than 10 minutes away, I believe it is. 9:48, family allegedly drops off Nancy at her home. The garage door opens. 9:50, the garage door closes. Next day, 1:47 a.m. The doorbell camera disconnects. 2:12, camera software detects a person. No video available due to subscription. 2:28, pacemaker, which we know there was on the back end. And that's the videos that we have of the perpetrator or kidnapper. 2:28, pacemaker shows disconnected from phone. 9 a.m., Nancy Guthrie failed to appear at an expected Sunday morning gathering. Later source reported Nancy was expected to attend a Sunday gathering at a friend's home to watch a New York-based church service. So she was going to do live stream. 11 a.m., concern about Nancy's absence was raised and family members were alerted. 11:56 a.m., family checks on Nancy. 12:03 p.m., family members call 911 to report her missing. This is the call I want to hear. Like, was it the actually family members or was it the church people? I'm curious about that. Because allegedly we heard it was Savannah called the governor first. And I have questions about that. I think that's suspicious. Why would you call the governor first? Like, it's your friend. You guys are both high profile people, but why not call the police first? I guess maybe if you need help, but I don't know. 12:15, Pima County Sheriff's deputies responded. Nancy's car, phone, and wallet still inside the home. Blood drops are found leading outside towards the driveway. The doorbell camera had been removed. 4:00 p.m. Sarah, I don't know what organization that is, was requested by Pima County Sheriff's Department to assist in the search. Midday to evening, Border Patrol units deployed canines. So there was. 8:55 p.m. search and rescue operations were initiated. Ground searches, air searches, technology assisted searches. Investigators observed conditions at the home considered concerning. Evidence suggested Nancy Guthrie did not leave voluntarily. February 2nd, overnight, extensive search operations. 9 a.m. press briefing. That was the very first one. He declared the residence a crime scene. Okay. They had no footage yet at this time. Investigators issued a ring alert, review ring camera footage from January 31st to 7 p.m. and then through February 1st. So that's when they asked the public for help to look even earlier. 12 p.m. silver alert issued. 11:25 p.m. Pima County Sheriff's issued a reward. Unknown time. KOLD News, a CBS affiliate in Tucson, reported that it had received a letter demanding payment. So that was a first ransom note, I think. February 3rd, Sheriff Nano's interview, 1:30 p.m. Pima County Sheriff to give Nancy update. 2:49, TMZ reports that it received another ransom note connected to Nancy's missing, or Nancy Guthrie missing. 3:49 p.m. Pima County Sheriff's under Chris Nanos issues a public statement. Detectives are coordinating with the FBI. That was February 3rd. February 4th, 10:07 a.m. statement on Nancy Guthrie investigation. Investigators state there's no suspect or person of interest that has been identified in the case at this time. Detectives continue to speak with anyone who may have contact with Nancy. 4:30 p.m. investigators reestablished crime scene tape at Nancy Guthrie's house. Heavy law enforcement present was observed at the home. Canine units. Okay. I would think the canine units would smell something if they thought Nancy was in the backyard. So I question, I guess, when they were looking down in those holes. What were they, like manholes? Water? Sewers? What was it that they were looking in? I can't remember. It'll probably say here. No public statement has been issued. 4:50 p.m. Law officers are conducting a grid search on Nancy's property. 6 p.m. a candlelight prayer service for Nancy. Okay. 6:06 p.m. detectives conducting follow-up investigation activity at Guthrie's residence and in the surrounding neighborhood. A new media staging area has been designated. 6 o'clock, Savannah Guthrie says they receive a ransom letter and they are ready to talk. 6:02 p.m. Anne and her husband, Annie, receive a text message asking for Bitcoin. So that was the first time when Annie got the message for Bitcoin. We want to figure this out together, gang. Hope she's found. Yeah. That guy went to place the blood. That's what I was thinking, Wilson. That's why I said, I bet she never made it home. Oh my gosh. Wilson, we have the same opinions. I think she never made it home, and I think that they went there to make it look like a robbery. Whoever they is. I do. I don't think Nancy made it home. I don't think she was sleeping. Unless there's blood inside the house, I don't believe it. Maybe there is. They haven't said that. I said the same thing. I don't think Nancy even made it home. It could have been the perpetrator who got into the garage. So who dropped her off? Then that would make the people who dropped her off involved? Question mark. Or maybe they dropped her off, but like I said, they were already there. There could have been somebody waiting for her in the garage or inside the house. Because remember in the video, the perp is coming from the side of the house. So if the perp is coming from the side of the house, maybe there was already someone inside or someone there, I was thinking. February 5th, 11 a.m., Chris Nanos is scheduled to conduct a briefing. 2:49 p.m., the FBI is a reward. They offer a reward up to $50,000. Which that blows my mind. Why would they only offer 50,000 and Savannah has money? She wouldn't offer any. February 6th, Catalina Foothills Association received a letter about the neighborhood stuff going on. 11:45 a.m., 13 News received the new note in the morning. We sent the IP address where the note came from to law enforcement. It was not the same IP address as the initial note, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their IP. 1:57, investigators visited a gas station near Nancy Guthrie's home. 3 o'clock, KOLD received another email tied to the Guthrie case. 3:05 p.m., they're aware of the new message. Okay, investigators are conducting a follow-up at the home. Law enforcement officials in Arizona are searching for vehicles, speaking to reporters as the vehicle was towed from the Guthrie home. I believe Nancy's car got towed and Annie's did too. Correct me if I'm wrong, or it was one or the other. How is she? You don't walk her to the door. What kind of people are these? Right? Your 84-year-old mother, you don't walk her to the door, make sure she gets home inside safe. I would have literally got my ass out of the car, made sure she was inside, make sure she was getting ready for bed. Make sure I close the door. She has water, or whatever. That it was safe to leave. I guess we're all really different, I guess the more money you have, the less human you become. 9 p.m., vehicle towed from Nancy Guthrie's home for processing. February 7th, Savannah Guthrie and her families released another video. 9 o'clock p.m., law enforcement was conducting a consent to search at Annie Guthrie's house. So that started on the 7th, searching her house. 11:33 p.m., all deputies have left Annie's house. February 8th, 10 a.m., update from Pima County Sheriff's Department. The investigation is all ongoing. No suspect or persons of interest. No scheduled briefing. 3:15 p.m., Pima County Sheriff's Department. At the request of the Guthrie family, the PD will maintain a presence at Nancy's house. So now you want the police there when she's missing, but you didn't care to have a housekeeper security before? Why enter the house through the garage door? I don't think maybe they did. I think they entered through the back door and they were already inside the house when Nancy got inside. Could that have been possible? And maybe that's why there was blood at the front door. Maybe Nancy went in through the garage, walked around the house, was settling in. Someone was in the house. Maybe they chased her to the front door. That's why the blood was there, or the blood was set up. That's crazy. I've been walking my mother to the door my whole life. Yeah, I do it now, and my mom's as active and as healthy as she can be. And I still walk her to the door, even to her car. February 9th, 3 p.m., Savannah Guthrie releases another video. That's when she's like, we need your help. 4:32 p.m., Pima County Sheriff's Law Enforcement. Activity at the Guthries will continue. Okay. A lot of nothing is what I'm reading through this timeline now. Now that we're reading it over, I'm like, seems like a lot of nothing burgers. So 5 p.m. reported second deadline contain an alleged ransom. Again, why is TMZ getting the ransom? Are they even real? My opinion only. February 10th, 10 a.m. Law enforcement plans to release a surveillance photo of the possible suspect Okay, so that's when we were like all freaking out, when we saw the video and the person grabbing the bushes, the dry flowers, and putting them in the camera. 10:52 a.m. FBI releases new images. Okay, we got those. We saw those. We've examined those. 4 p.m. The police department, with assistance, has detained an individual. Justice for Carlos. Why did Carlos get detained? They broke his door. We know what happened there. 5 p.m. Media report states TMZ received a third message allegedly connected to Nancy Guthrie case. 7:30 p.m. The Pima County Sheriff's Department, with assistance from the FBI, has detained an individual, Carlos. We know what happened there. 11:36 p.m. Police cordon off Camino Agosto. Search activity was confirmed to be related to the investigation. February 11th, midnight, statement from woman whose house was searched. That was the mother-in-law. 2:08 a.m., DoorDash statement. DoorDash gave a statement. They were like, we're investigating it because remember, somebody said that Carlos had worked for DoorDash. So DoorDash then got involved. They're a big organization, corporation, company, whatever. 3:14 a.m., the person of interest detained, Carlos Palazuelos, has been released and he is innocent. 8:25 a.m., a third letter is sent to TMZ. 11 a.m., FBI agents are conducting an extensive search. 3:07 p.m., a black glove was found in the roadside, collected as evidence. FBI is searching Nancy Guthrie's yard. Okay, that was also weird too, because you know how people were saying like the family sent pool cleaners to Nancy's house on this day? So I think it was on this day, the 11th. So there was like pool cleaners at Nancy's house. And I'm just thinking like, your mother is missing, for crying out loud. Who gives a shit about the pool? 1. 2, was that scheduled? And why are they allowed on the crime scene? Like, questions. 3, again, who scheduled that? Was that pre-scheduled? Who verified that appointment of the pool cleaner? Why 2 people at the pool cleaner? If you guys didn't know, let me fill you in. The FBI does sometimes have to keep stuff close to the chest. They do plan and organize these types of situations. I don't really believe that was real pool cleaners at the house. I think that was the FBI dressed as pool cleaners to not distract the media. And I think they went in there and checked the pool to make sure there was no evidence or DNA. I don't believe that was the real pool cleaner company. I could be wrong, but they are known to do that. There's a word for it. There's a word for that they use in the FBI. There's a term, I believe, that the FBI uses for when they like plot these things that are supposed to look like they're real life, but they're not. I'm trying to remember it because I think I heard it on Court TV. Or like a planned, I forget what they call it. I'll come back to that. But I don't think those were real pool cleaners. And if so, I have questions. Why are you allowing the pool to be cleaned before Nancy's even found? It's weird. Who's tripping on the pool cleaning when your mother's missing? Possible that she's dead out in the fucking desert somewhere. Possibly eaten by coyotes. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like it's real life, right? They live out in the desert. TMZ is the devil, just saying. 3:49 p.m. This is still on the 11th. FBI tells media that the Rico man Carlos is innocent, detained. Okay, fine, we got that. February 12th, 8 a.m. Law enforcement is setting up a tent at the front door to do what? I don't know. Shouldn't they have gotten that information sooner? Fingerprints, reports from the camera. The 11th, the 12th, 11 days later. I don't know. It seems a little shoddy to me. 12:13, investigators are requesting video footage, around surrounding areas. 12:14 p.m., corrections issued by the Pima County asking neighbors to check their surveillance. Again, should have been doing. to a 7 p.m. FBI and sheriff seeking to question man with a backpack. All right. Who cares? You don't know who he is. Anyone can own that backpack. Many people have backpacks. I have a backpack, so what does it matter? 4:04 p.m. FBI is increasing its reward up to $100,000 for information. That's when they upped the reward. The suspect is described as 5'10", 5'9", with an Ozark trail hiker backpack. I saw JLR went and bought the backpack or something similar today, and allegedly the price was like $10.88. So the kidnapper or whatever he or she is, they were like, let me use my little $10 backpack. And hey, I ain't judging it. We're balling on a budget here. But like, again, it goes back to my comment of anyone can shop at fucking Walmart and anyone can have that backpack, right? I guess they would have to work with Walmart and get their reports on like when was the SKU for this specific Ozark backpack like sold in your store, some type of thing like that, which I know Walmart does have, because Walmart is also shady as fuck, but they have really good surveillance and tracking system. So there's that. At least Walmart, I think, can pull those reports. February 13th, which was yesterday, Pima County Sheriff's Department, the FBI joint investigation. Okay. Authorities described the partnership. Okay, there's drama going on. We got that. Evidence, multiple gloves. The gloves were found about 2 miles from her house. It's all been submitted for laboratory testing. Investigators recovered DNA that does not belong to Nancy or the individuals known to be in close contact with her. So they recovered DNA. That goes back to my question earlier when I said, what are they comparing against to? So they have DNA in what? They're not in the system, so they don't know who it is? Recovered DNA that does not belong to Nancy. So it wasn't my blood, because they would know, So I'm just wondering, whose DNA? Okay, moving on. Authorities are working to identify the source of the DNA. Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, I would hope they are. Investigators are not disclosing where the DNA was located. They don't want us to know. Got it. So don't ask the public for help if you're not going to give the details. Leads. Investigators state they're continuing to follow up on the leads. Public tips submitted footage. Okay, we saw the footage. Video request. They requested from neighbors. They want video from January 1st. So this is when they extend the timeline. So now they're going back to January 1st. So what do they think happened January 1st between February 2nd? Well, my opinion is somebody was involved with Nancy throughout these days, or they think it could have maybe been someone involved with Nancy around these days. So I'm hoping that they're looking at her credit card statements, her phone, quote unquote, black box. It's not what they called, but like doing a dump of her, a forensic download is what they call it. Request include suspicious people or vehicles. Okay, where do you know this? Pool maintenance. Oh, yeah. So yesterday, pool maintenance was conducted at the home at the request of the Guthrie family. Okay, let's go back to my comments about who the fuck wants the pool cleaned when your mother is missing. So it was at the request of the Guthrie family. Who? Savannah? Why do you care about the pool right now? Your mom's missing. I'm confused. Did you want to go take a dip at her pool when she's missing? Do you not have your own pool? You, ma'am, worth $80 million. Why are you sending pool maintenance? What are you worried about? You're already worried about putting the house on the market. You want the pool to stay clean. Why? Do you know she's dead? Why do you think that? Why do you know that? Do you assume that? Did the Lord tell you that when you did your prayers? And I'm not mocking her, but she claims to be a very religious person. So I'm just curious. I know it sounds very harsh, but it's not. Questions need to be asked. And I'm sick of let's tiptoe around people who have money and celebrities. Just like everyone has tiptoed around the Epstein aisles and raping children and abusing children. I know I'm a little harsh. I don't mean it coming from an evil place. I feel for the Guthries. I feel for Nancy. Don't get me wrong. I've been covering it for the last 2 weeks. So I think it shows that I care. But also, like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with it. Really. We need Melly on the ground investigating. Yeah, at this point, I'm about to go there and probably be boots on the ground. I should. They're probably trying to cut their tracks. Maybe she has hope. It is. Yeah, I can't put myself in her shoes. I'm just trying to understand the whole pool thing. And why you wouldn't pay 1 Bitcoin. Even if you lost the money. Like, what is $66,000 when you're worth like 80 million? That's like chump change, you know? They probably spend that night out to dinner with friends that are elites at a nice dinner, nice steakhouse, rent the whole place out or half of it, have luxurious espresso martinis. You know, they probably spend that. Like, I wouldn't doubt it. No press conference. Okay, Pima County's. But I feel for her. I do. But I'm just wondering who put that request in. Was it maybe not Savannah? Was it Annie? It just seems weird to be worried about the pool when there's media, there's people being wrongfully detained. Your mom is missing. You're losing your job basically because I don't know that the Today Show's going to want her back on there after all this media, like really. And she might not even want to go back on there for a while, if she even does. And then your husband on top of that is in the Epstein files. There's a lot going on here. There's no press briefing scheduled. Okay, that was last night. Law enforcement activity is underway. February 14th, today. No arrests have been officially confirmed. No suspect has been identified. Law enforcement continues forensic analysis. 2:00 p.m. Updates from Sheriff Nanos. There was no suicide or shooting connected to the operation last night. No sign of Nancy at the home. The person of interest involved in the traffic stop cooperated and was released. The FBI is holding off on providing an update on Nancy Guthrie until the testing results are returned. So what testing results? Because if you let the person of interest involved with the traffic stop go, so what test results? What did they find or what did they have? Maybe fingerprints of someone? I thought that was easily accessible to them. Maybe if it was blood, maybe it's not. I know blood is harder. You have to like send it through the system. At least more complex than fingerprints. The FBI is holding off. Oh, I already read that. Friday night's operations are still being withheld. Pima County Sheriff's Chris Nano said there's no signs of Nancy as of late night searches. Friday night's operation was conducted based on a lead that led to a search warrant and no arrest. He later added that there was no signs of Guthrie at the home. Okay, so those are all the updates for Nancy. Let's move on to Epstein. Before we end the live, I wanted to go through a few things with Epstein, and one of them was this, because who believes that is Ghislaine Maxwell right here? Excuse me, at the recent hearing where she pled the fifth. Someone tell me these are the same people? Are they the same people? No, the pool company didn't send them in. That's why I'm saying the family requested it. And so FBI usually discourages paying ransoms. Yeah, I know. This is an interesting post, right? Clearly not that. That is wild. And then down here, someone puts like the eyes. They're like, nope, not the same person. And then someone actually outlines her nose shape right here. So did Ghislaine get replaced just like Jeffrey Epstein did? They escaped the prison and they got their clone in there? Because I'm sorry, that's not the same person. Like, it's really not, I don't think. Not even the lip. Look at the lip. There's like a little like Cupid's bow right here. And then look at Ghislaine. No Cupid bow right here. No, look at how defined this is. The nose is very different. The eyes are very different because she'd have gained weight. Sure. Sure. Let's see the comments. Somebody said they really take us for fools. Very clearly not the same person unless she got upper breadth, changed her eye shape, and made them less wide set, nose surgery to make it wider and shorter, and shaved off her chin. Or I wonder if she did do all of these things to go undergo surgery to leave the country. This is what she really looked like at the hearing this last week. So this is really her over here on the far left. That's really her. That's really her. That's really what she looked like. That's not AI. And this one's not AI either. Some of them might be, but these two are not. Some people say that it is her though, and she could have gained weight. Oh. That totally does not look like the same person. If someone makes a clone of me and they don't look exactly like me, you guys better be putting up a fight. Like, that is not my way. Ask AI. I think people in the comments did, and they said it was her. This is her right here when they said that she could possibly be related to the Madeleine McCann kidnapping. Because this is what she allegedly, the portrait, the sketch, and it was around the same time. So they try to make it look like her, but really she had to have access to black hair dye and monthly pixie cuts. Yup. There's a reason for that look. If it is her, they wanted to show that she's miserable. A judge can say you are having a good time in there, bill denied. True. Yeah, that doesn't look like her at all. I mean, it could be though, like, it really could be. She could really look different. Pam Bondi is all over these files too. Here's a picture, like a little thing of her nose. What do you guys think about the nose? She got a haircut for that hearing? Yeah, she did. She did. She wanted to go into court and look appropriate. Bitch, you're a PDF file. They shouldn't give a shit about that. Yeah, like look at her eyes and her eyebrows, like the space between them. Could she have maybe shaved all her eyebrows off and regrown them in prison? Sure. Think your eyebrows like grow where you have, you know, like the cuticle, like where there's there's been hair before. Maybe she did just gain a ton of weight. Yeah, look at how different she looks in this picture compared to her new one. Way different. Even way different cut. So she went from this to like a pixie cut? I didn't know you could request a specific style in there. I thought you just got what you got. At least that's what I was told. People say it ain't even her. She's out there living her best life with Jeffrey Epstein.
Of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware?
Doesn't she sound like Jeffrey when we did that the deposition?
Of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
It is really small. I'm sorry.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump ever engaging in sexual activity with an individual introduced to him by you or Jeffrey Epstein?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Are you aware of Donald Trump?
She really did do exactly what what Jeffrey Epstein did in that deposition. Oh, I was gonna show you guys the files that they deleted, and then I'll show you a little clip that I found that freaked me out. Um, oh, I'll show you the clip first. This clip really gave me the chills when I watched it because I don't know. This was hidden in the files, by the way. The files that they make difficult to find. Like, who would make this video of this girl? The black box is a minor, by the way. I took the sound off so I don't get in trouble by YouTube. Like, what a creepy video. It's like there's so much innocence in this clip. And then there's a female. Yeah. So this video I didn't even know existed until I converted it to a video file, like I told you that they're doing on the website. It's some really weird shit. There was another one I wanted to show you guys that I didn't play in the clip. I have a short on these videos too. You guys should check it out. It might have been this one. You guys have to pay close attention to. Oh, this one was weird. Yeah, this one was weird because I'm like, what's going on? Kind of looks like she's posing or they're having sex. I don't know. Behind, like, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she's dancing or something. Where are those poor girls? That's my point. That's my point. It's kind of a weird video because you don't see anything except some stuff in the background. So like you see over here on the side, like, do you see hair? Let me know if that's what you see. Do you hear the background? You see her hair? She's like naked or getting dressed or something. She's like dancing or doing some kind of stretches or something. Like, look at her face right here. They redacted her body, but not her head and her hair. I'm like, hello? And then she turns it off. And you can see her like wearing, you can see her body right here. She's wearing like a sports bra or a bandeau. These are the type of videos that are hidden and behind those files where they say no images produced. These are the clips that are hidden in the files. Hidden because I don't know why they would do that. Why not just list them as a separate, make a folder with all the videos? You know, they all just say PDF, no image produced, but you have to convert the file. And if you don't know about that stuff, you probably wouldn't even, you'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. There's nothing there. You know? I thought I had another one. I think I put this one in the short, but we can watch it. Was that a victim? Yes. The people blacked in the black box are victims or people they want to keep protected for whatever reason. Victims is all I could think. Looks like a naked girl. Weird, right? Like there's a ton of these, millions and millions of just documented clips of girls dancing, doing weird shit. I'm going to play for you guys a clip. What is this? It's a girl dancing in front of the mirror. This clip was found in the Epstein files, and you tell me why. Like he saved this clip or something. It's really weird. I'm playing it for now. It's like he's a comedian, I guess. He's called Toby the Devil. And this was literally hidden in the files. I'm like, why is that here? This is like 4 minutes. So you know, this was in JE's drive. Or no? I don't know if you guys can just see it or can you hear it? You can hear him or no? You might not be able to if it's the way that I have it set up. Let me know if you can hear him, because if no, oh shoot. That's why you guys are probably like, what is he saying? Oh my God. Okay. Let me upload it. No, there's a way. My bad. I'm sorry. There's a way I can upload it so you guys can hear it. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm glad I asked before I continue to play it. Now let me know if you can hear it.
Hello.
Can you hear it now? There was like applause and he said hello. Reading. No, I want you guys to hear it. That's why I'm going to start over. You guys can hear it now? Let me know. Yes. On the barbecue. Like the children becoming jerky. Why Jeffrey Epstein had this in his, why the DOJ felt they needed to download that onto these files. That would be a good question for them. I feel they should answer that. Okay, I have another video. Yeah, these are just creepy. This one is I was trying to figure out who the man is at the end of this because they show his face, but I couldn't figure it out. It's a girl. Who is that? I couldn't figure out, did that look familiar? Did he look familiar to anyone? This disgusting man right here. Yuck. Interesting. How they didn't redact that, huh? This is some politician or something. I don't know. Some actor. Um, this is also another one that was saved in the files. This one was like a news segment about politics. So
Trying to figure out the scam that is neoconservatism. One news account this week explained that President Trump has begun to wonder about his national security advisor, John Bolton. Bolton, you'll remember, led the cheering for the Iraq invasion in 2003. He supported the overthrow of Gaddafi in Libya a couple years later. He pushed for preemptive strikes on Iran and North Korea. He called Russia's actions in the United States in 2016 an act of war. He agreed with Bill Kristol on that. He's advocated for regime change in Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua. Trump, of course, ran against all of that. Apparently, the president has told people around him this week that John Bolton wants to get him, quote, into a war. Now, we're not in the habit of fact-checking other people's news stories, but in this case, we can confirm that conclusively. Yes, Mr. President, John Bolton does want to get you into a war. It's all he wants. It's what he dreams about. Many wars, if possible. And if you're not careful, he'll do it.
That was also in the DOJ files. So very interesting things that they're, they allowed in there. Let me see. I know there was a few more. I have a ton of them, but some I'll show in the Epstein live somewhere. He also had this. This was also in the files, and I thought it was weird. I don't know about like, what do you call it when you transport on a boat? Like whatever, overseas. That was also in the DOJ files. So I don't know if they knew what was on there, if it was Jeffrey Epstein's boat or yacht or whatever. Something was odd about that. There's a video I want to watch. We might have to do that on a separate live. This is one of the people involved in the files. Let's watch this short.
Sachs' lawyer is out after it's been revealed that she was exchanging very comfortable emails and even receiving luxury goods from Jeffrey Epstein. Kathy Rumler was exchanging emails with Jeffrey Epstein even days leading up to his suicide and has stepped down from her Goldman Sachs position on her own volition, reportedly blindsiding the firm. She was signing off her emails XOXO and even called him Uncle Jeffrey in one exchange.
She's talking about, what's her name? PDF file, Catherine Rumler. She's a politician. She's all over the Epstein files. We haven't covered her yet, but she has officially stepped down, just like Salami. They shouldn't have to step down. They should be arrested.
Records from the Justice Department show that she received a $9,400 Hermes handbag and also a spa trip at the Four Seasons Hotel in Washington, D.C. from Epstein. In one 2019 email, she thanked Epstein for his gifts, saying, "I am totally tricked out by Uncle Jeffrey today, Jeffrey boots, handbag, and watch." Other gifts include a Fendi coat and bag costing $6,800 from August of 2018 as well. Despite all the controversy, Goldman Sachs had been standing behind her until she left by her own choice, citing the media attention as just too much pressure, and she will be in her post until June 30th. But one Wall Street insider predicts that even though her retirement will still be lavish, she likely will be invited to fewer fancy cocktail parties in her future.
So she has officially stepped down. There was another person I wanted to show you guys that stepped down too. As they should. Oh, here we go. Well, they should be arrested. Step down and then arrested. Here's Mr. Salami. We've been covering him in the files. Emirati CEO who sent the torture video to JE has been arrested by UEA authorities after resigning from his company. He's being investigated by authorities. In America, they're giving the pedos time to run away. That's the difference in the West. Yeah. So why isn't America doing that? Why? He's the one who sent the torture video. I'm gonna play Pam Bondi too. She needs to be arrested. We'll be covering her. Let's watch a clip of her at the recent hearing defending Trump.
The president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter. So let's talk about the facts. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example,
By the way, she's in the Epstein files, Pam, and she definitely defended and protected him
according to this
and
file,
participated. We'll get there.
Ghislaine
Don't you
Maxwell
worry.
presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, "This is a good one." Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up. And this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal agents have Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history, an attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized. Excuse me, gentleman from Kansas, the Attorney General, former Attorney General, Mr. Schmidt is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and General Bondi, thanks for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we talk?
I do. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try, Congresswoman Crockett, to ask any questions, because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein was convicted. And I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide, arson, weapon offense.
Convicted.
You know,
So what we
Estrada,
talking about? Convict some of these perpetrators that rape these women that are sitting behind you, that you refuse to even acknowledge they are here.
Whoa. Whoever the Crockett lady is, I'm down. Pam is a tough cookie. Pam is nasty. She did some nasty shit in these Epstein files. We'll get there. There's an order that I'm going by as I go through them. Allegedly. I don't know. Intense, right? Okay, this next video that I want to show is of a victim of Donald J. Trump's. This is Katie Johnson. She accused Trump of raping her at 13 years of age. In 2016, her lawyers filed a lawsuit against him. And right before the court date, she received threats against her and her family's life that made her drop it. And she disappeared and was never to be seen again.
Of his daughter, and she said, well, she's 13. Trump knew that I was 13 because the first night that I was there, Tiffany actually suggested that if she had a whole bunch of different wigs and I expressed interest in them, I always told her that I would love to walk around with blue hair. And so I tried some on, and there was a blonde wig that she said that looked great on me. So I wore that wig, and Donald Trump had specifically asked about me because I remind him of his daughter, and she said, well, she's 13 as well. So he knew the first time that he saw me, but he took a liking to me because I look like his daughter. The reason I'm coming out now is when it happened originally, I just wanted to forget about the whole incident. And when I saw that he was running for president, I felt it was my responsibility to come out and tell our country what kind of man this person is.
So she was never seen again. Let's see. I have another clip for you guys. Let me pull it up. Brutal, right? It's always so brutal. So this next video is someone taking a video of JE. Oh, that's just too short. It's like 1 second, so I won't show you that. Okay, let's watch this one. Yeah, Virginia. I know.
Jerky as code. Rituals that will make your blood run cold. An entire grotesque subculture of trafficking, consumption, and depravity on an industrial scale that has been blown wide open. And at the rotten heart of it for years, according to Epstein files investigators, Ellen DeGeneres, the daytime TV queen who smiled into America's living rooms while allegedly orchestrating horrors in the shadows.
And this girl, Ellen DeGeneres, she's been involved with Jay-Z and P. Diddy, and she's heavily involved in the Epstein files.
They called it conspiracy. They called it rumor. But nightmares like this don't disappear. They get buried. And what's buried long enough starts to rot. Buckle up. We're going deep. And we're not pulling any punches. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice local. And what's buried long enough starts to rot. Buckle up. She confirmed the use of code words in Epstein's emails, including jerky.
I looked directly at the emails that have been widely circulated pertaining to the age 11, and I have it written down on my notes, the permission to kill email, the Snow White, the littlest girl was naughty, etc. And some of them pertaining to, jerky, whatever that is. Yeah.
And so, and so just quick follow, what is jerky? Like, what is that exactly?
I think that's the question. I don't know if it's like, and again, like going into specifically just based on what this is, I don't know.
Code
the
word.
Context is
It has to be a code word. Nobody
It's a
talks
code
about
word
jerky
and
like
it's
this.
Weird. Yeah, it's a code word and it's weird.
We've been warning the world for over a decade now. Depraved members of the elite are cannibals, utterly obsessed with consuming child meat. We've been dismissed as tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists, even though everybody in Hollywood knows the truth. The evidence is undeniable, hiding right there in plain sight. We weren't wrong, we were early. Now, thanks to the Epstein files, the world is finally catching up.
Hope you are feeling better. Did we analyze the jerky? Why didn't we get jerky this week? I also added more to the jerky and ginger lemongrass. Thank you so much. Super cool. Beef jerky, delicious. Jojo is here and we'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. We'll walk the jerky over to Jeffrey. Why would jerky walk around?
Jerky is allegedly human flesh.
Why would it do that? Delicious lunch, beef jerky. Steve and I are very grateful above all for your friendship. Some of these emails are so wholesome, aren't they? It's too bad they eat kids. A small insulated bag would be fine. I don't remember checking it. No need for crazy amounts of ice. One should do. There is one bag of beef jerky in the fridge. Please get it. Also, Blank has more at her place. Please get it from her as well. I suppose it needs to be in a cold insulated bag. Just wanted to touch base about jerky. JE said he was going to start eating regular food again, so he might be eating less jerky. He said he has 6 bags of it in the downstairs freezer. Why would you freeze jerky? Steve needs a 6 to 8 ounce portion of jerky. I gave you all the jerky we had, and it lasted only half the amount of time it was meant to. I felt like it was more important for you to have the jerky to eat during my time off. My plan is to make a batch before I leave for LSJ, and some of that will go to Steve, and the rest will go to you at LSJ when I arrive. Little St. James Island. And that's what LSJ must mean. So logically, that means that they were doing this off of the island. Steve Hansen is sending jerky to your attention overnight. I believe it should be enough to get him through. Jeffrey Epstein is asking to bring him more jerky. I'm flying in on Friday. I will bring jerky. Is there a time I could come say hi and drop off the beef jerky? And that's from Jeffrey Epstein. Francis has time to come tomorrow. Show me how to make it. Jerky class anyone. He will bring you to taste his new jerky recipe from the restaurant. He sends a warm hello. He's working at a restaurant called guys, the restaurant's called Cannibal and Cooks. Wait for it. Beef jerky and steak.
We've been sounding the alarm about this restaurant for years, warning everybody who would listen that something truly horrific is going on behind closed doors. And what happened? The usual suspects stepped in. Snopes, all the big fact checkers, they rushed to debunk our reporting. They flat out declared that the elite do not consume human flesh and that no such restaurant even exists. How inconvenient for them that is listed right there in the Epstein files. For the record, confirmed restaurant guests include Chelsea and Hillary Clinton, Meryl Streep, Don Lemon, and Justin Trudeau's new partner, Katy Perry. And that was just the week we had an inside source providing details. Mexican model Gabriela Rico Jimenez wasn't crazy. She wasn't making it up. Back in 2009, this 21-year-old broke down in hysterics right outside a luxury hotel, screaming the unthinkable. She had just witnessed VIPs consuming human flesh.
Remember, I showed you guys this very video, and I think the 3rd Jeffrey live that we did. Gabriela was never to be seen again. She's talking about she witnessed them eating humans.
The depravity of the elite truly knows no bounds. What we've seen exposed with Jeffrey Epstein and his inner circle, the trafficking, the abuse, the sheer evil, feels almost tame when you start peeling back the layers of what goes on in Hollywood. According to insiders, Ellen DeGeneres introduced Jeffrey Epstein and his island crew to the pleasures of human flesh. And in Los Angeles, Ellen is responsible for force-feeding hundreds, if not thousands, of unsuspecting friends, as well as members of the public, with human meat. We've got the details after this important word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is AffordableRxStore.com. The price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicine...
My insurance company.
No. I think the only way I
wouldn't try... ...and intact.
No.
Really?
Tegan didn't walk it back. She doubled down. She said that she's bored with...
Let me go back.
Prissy Tegan, 10% EVT, Rx Store, fantastic. Prissy Tegan, a friend of Ellen DeGeneres, who's been a frequent guest at Diddy and Obama parties for decades, has made it clear that she's open to eating human flesh. Here she is pleading her case for cannibalism.
If the person okayed it,
I would eat a human. If you were at a very fancy restaurant and they were like a tiny piece of human meat.
No. I think the only way
You wouldn't try a tiny bite?
Ew.
Really?
Tegan didn't walk it back. She doubled down. She said that she's bored with normal food and it's time for humanity to become more open-minded about the ingredients used in fine dining restaurants.
Would you really eat human?
I mean,
what body
in
part
like
would you eat? Haven't you been to that bodies exhibit down on
Yeah,
right? Have
yeah,
you been there?
I've been there.
I feel like we've eaten everything. Like everything has been eaten in fine dining. What's one thing that hasn't been served?
These attitudes run rampant in Hollywood, according to multiple insiders who've come forward with horrifying revelations. They claim that babies are kept whole in refrigerators, stored cold and intact, just like an ordinary suburban family might keep whole chickens ready for the table.
When I knew Ellen, she was already a household name. She had a full staff, including a personal chef trained in Paris, the kind who turned lentils into sculpture. But when it came to certain meals, she didn't let him touch a thing. There was a separate kitchen on her property, stainless steel, private entrance, no security cameras inside. The chef handled the sauces, the garnishes, the staging, but she insisted on doing the hard part herself. Said it grounded her, said it made the energy right. She wore a chef's hat like it was a crown. She believed consumption was transformation, that youth could be taken in, that vitality could be absorbed. She talked about ancient rites, about elites throughout history who understood what the masses didn't. It wasn't framed as cruelty, it was framed as tradition. The dumplings were her signature, folded carefully, almost lovingly, served at private dinners first. Studio heads, rising stars, political donors. She would watch as they ate, not hungrily, not nervously, but with that sociopathic calm, studying their faces. They complimented the seasoning, the texture. She would smile. And she wasn't an anomaly. That was the part that still keeps me up. There were whispers, other estates, other gatherings, special occasions, contracts signed over candlelight. Refrigeration units in basements stocked with whole babies marinating in special sauces. Jokes about saving something rare for a premiere or an award win.
What?
You heard enough and you stopped reacting. It wasn't about appetite. It was about power and crossing a boundary so absolute that everyone at the table became complicit. Once you shared that secret, whatever you believed you'd consumed, you were bound to the group. No one betrays a circle that can destroy them. She even brought the dumplings to a few tapings of her show. Homemade, she said with that psychopathic grin. Audience members lined up for samples. Crew grabbed them between segments. I remember holding one, feeling the warmth in my palm, and realizing the real performance wasn't happening on camera. It was happening in plain sight. She didn't have friends, not real ones, just people she elevated, humiliated, tested. Feeding them was part of the game, a private torment disguised as generosity. This was all in the past. Houses get sold, staff get rotated out. Ellen was destroyed because everyone hated her. But the industry doesn't cleanse itself, it just rebrands.
When people hear whispers about elites crossing forbidden lines, they focus on the shock. But biology doesn't care about status. Kuru is real, a neurological disease linked to rich.
And you guys know this isn't the first time this is that was a victim speaking. This isn't the first time this comes out about Ellen.
Ritual cannibalism, tremors, cognitive collapse, a slow visible decline that no PR team can spin. So for those at the top engaging in cannibalism, the fallout won't stay hidden forever. Symptoms don't sign NDAs. And when powerful figures suddenly retreat from public life, citing health issues, private recovery, or stepping back from the spotlight, it raises serious questions. Some taboos don't just cost you morally, they cost you physically.
This is one of the most disturbing videos found in the Epstein files. In the video, Epstein is filming himself very closely. You can see swelling in his mouth and strange, uncontrolled lip movements. At first, the video does not seem shocking. So why did it have such a big impact online? Some internet users connected it to a very rare and deadly disease linked to certain practices that cannot be named directly here. This disease is called Kuru, a brain disorder first discovered in the 20th century among people in Papua New Guinea. Kuru is not caused by a virus or bacteria. It is caused by prion, which are damaged proteins that slowly destroy the brain. It works in a similar way to mad cow disease. What looks strange in the video is not the mouth swelling, because Kuru does not cause visible swelling. The strange part is the uncontrolled mouth movements. In brain diseases, early signs can include loss of muscle control and speech problems.
Here's the real danger. If we're not careful, the Epstein files are going to become the Building 7 of our generation. Smoking gun evidence, buried by the government and the mainstream media, both determined to gaslight the public once again. This is why the elite are desperate to censor the masses and ban free speech. One of the global elite's most powerful weapons, a weapon few people realize is a weapon, is the VPN on your laptop or your phone right now. Industry leader Proton is funded and controlled.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm showing you creepy stuff. I want to watch the last interview with Savannah Guthrie, and the last interview Virginia did. Savannah Guthrie was involved. So take that as you want.
This is everything. The only solace for me is that when a group of people who've experienced trauma of this kind come together united against a common enemy, there's a very special bond between us all.
A painful bond shared among these 6 women sitting together for the first time for an exclusive interview with NBC News.
I find it very comforting to be here.
Marika Chartouni, Anushka DeGiorgio, and Rachel K. Benavidez sharing their stories about Epstein for the first time on television.
I think the nature of this kind of abuse means that you're conditioned to be silent, to be isolated, secretive, and shameful.
I feel like, it was a big game for him, and we were the pieces of his game. And you're like, I'm just not going to say anything because that's what he told me to do.
The women all have familiar stories of grooming, promises, and then sexual assault.
I can relate to pretty much every person sitting here next to me.
Virginia Roberts Guthrie says Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her one summer when she was working as a locker room attendant at Mar-a-Lago. In her first broadcast interview, Virginia tells NBC News what she has previously alleged in court filings, that Epstein directed her to also have sex with a number of powerful men, among them Britain's Prince Andrew.
He was an abuser. He was a participant.
Virginia says she was 17 when this photo was taken with the prince in Maxwell's London townhome, next to the bathroom where she says he sexually abused her.
What happened? The first time in London, I was so young.
Not Savannah Guthrie here. And now her mother's missing.
Young. Ghislaine woke me up in the morning and said, "You're going to meet a prince today." I didn't know at that point that I was going to be trafficked to that prince. And then that night, Prince Andrew came to her house in London, and we went out to Club Tramp. Prince Andrew got me alcohol. It was in the VIP section. I'm pretty sure it was vodka. Prince Andrew was like, "Let's dance together." And I was like, okay. And we leave Club Tramp, and I hop in the car with Ghislaine and Jeffrey. And Ghislaine said he's coming back to the house.
Oh, her name's not Gizho.
And I want you to do for him what you do for Epstein. I couldn't believe it.
Virginia says the abuse moved from the bathroom to a bedroom.
He wasn't rude or anything about it. He said, thank you, and some kind of soft sentiments like that, and left. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that even royalty were involved.
She says Prince Andrew abused her 2 more times, once in New York in Epstein's mansion, and again at his Virgin Islands estate.
Prince Andrew, of course, denies that this ever happened. He denies that it ever happened, and he's going to keep denying that it ever happened. But he knows the truth, and I know the truth.
What do you say if people think this is about money for you, that you're trying to get money and have gotten money?
Well, unfortunately, there's this horrible law called statute of limitations. My lawyer said the way to get Ghislaine Maxwell held accountable, the way to get Jeffrey Epstein held accountable is through them saying I'm a liar, which I'm not. So it's called a defamation suit.
Like all others she's named, Prince Andrew has denied the allegations. Buckingham Palace telling NBC News in a statement, it is emphatically denied that the Duke of York had any form of sexual contact or relationship with Virginia Roberts. Any claim to the contrary is false and without foundation. Maxwell has not been criminally charged and has repeatedly denied the accusations against her.
What does justice look like to you now?
Justice now is holding accountable the perpetrators that helped him and participated with him, and encouraging more people to come forward so we can try to put this puzzle together and understand how it happened. How did this happen for so long? How did he get away with it?
These are questions many of these women have asked, especially now after Epstein's suicide in jail, awaiting trial on child sex trafficking and conspiracy charges.
I feel let down, that he was able to commit suicide. Yeah, it was really upsetting. They failed us before. Don't fail us again. Exactly. That's all we're asking. Take us serious. We matter. You matter. You matter, and you matter. And for all the girls out there, you all matter too.
Yes.
A message to other possible victims of Epstein still waiting in the shadows.
Jeffrey thought that we were disposable.
Where are you at now, Savannah? Why are you so quiet? I know your mother's missing, but dear Lord, you have nothing to say after you interviewed all these victims?
And he threw us all away.
Got it.
And look who's still standing.
There's something about seeing the group of women together with those shared stories that is incredibly compelling, as is Virginia's story.
The image itself is...
All of them should be outraged. Outraged. This is Kurt Cobain, because, they're saying that allegedly he got taken out too. Let's watch this clip.
She was kind of a foul-mouthed person, and she hated the whole Hollywood scene, and she expressed her hatred for them publicly. And so, and she also, when she was I think she was 15, she entered this essay contest when she was living here in Seattle, entitled "God is Dead," and a lot of people accused her of being a communist. And then she went to New York and was a part of this acting troupe. And so it supposedly had communist ties too. And so then there's this big conspiracy amongst a judge, a very well-known, prominent judge here in Seattle, and a bunch of other people who had ties with Hollywood. And they basically just set her up and ruined her life. They had some pictures taken of her when she was arrested for drunk driving, and it was a big, huge scandal. And she eventually was sent to a mental institution and given a lobotomy and raped every day for years, and just totally abused, and ended up working at a Four Seasons restaurant alone, and dying by herself.
There's a Bainbridge Island. That's where she was institutionalized, right over there. It's just all broken down, like an infirmary there.
For years, every night there were lines of custodians, friends, and people, part of the staff who would wait in line to rape her every day. She went through a lot of shit. And it just disgusts me, to know that there are some of the people that are part of that conspiracy are living here in Seattle in their comfortable, cushy little homes with their families. It's 20, 40 years after the fact, and it's just
God,
makes me
not a
want
fair
to.
one.
Yeah.
That's what the Christians say. God, why was there Auschwitz? Well,
I know it's dark. Remember during a live we talked about the butler, Alfredo? So there was a butler that Jeffrey Epstein had, and he had access. He got the little black book, with all the logs and contacts and all that. And the butler I believe his name is Alfredo. He wanted to sell the black book because he was worried about if he gave that information that they would kill him. So he ends up trying to, I guess, allegedly sell the black book. And he goes to the FBI. The FBI says they're going to do an investigation. And then the FBI actually ends up arresting him for trying to sell the black book. So I want to watch a clip about that. We did a live on that. I don't know. Check out the playlist. I've covered a lot of Epstein, and we're going to continue to cover it tomorrow. So definitely check out the previous playlist. Let's watch this interview on the butler. It's an FBI undercover interview, and he's caught on here trying to sell the little black book. The little black book is all of the information that Jeffrey had in contacts and whatnot.
Bring him in here. We're going to lay him out on the table. We're going to look at everything. Okay. I've got questions from Brad I need to ask you. Okay. That way you don't have
Allegedly, Michael Jackson and Princess Diana, is he in jail now? Yeah, the butler. I believe he's still in jail. Princess Diana and Michael Jackson allegedly try to speak out, and people think that they were both killed as well by these organizations. Hey, not my job. Good to see you.
have to worry about meeting Brad again. Have to talk to Brad again. All right. You know, we'll get that squared away. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, Alfredo Rodriguez. So this video, I'll read to you guys, was taken 2 years after the FBI had wanted Rodriguez to turn over any Epstein documents. However, he tried to sell the diary for $50,000. He also claimed that Epstein's partner and accomplice, Ghislaine, who is now in jail, maintained a database of girls, including, naked images. He was later arrested for failing to turn over the book as evidence when he claimed it was his insurance policy. He explained worries that Epstein would make him disappear. He's not in jail, Evie. I thought he was, but I'm thinking of somebody else. He pleaded guilty to obstruction and got 18 months in jail, and then he died in 2014. Now, how he died and was that natural causes? They say it was, but it can be just like Jean-Luc, he died in a cell as well. No, he's dead. I'm sorry. I was confusing him with someone else. There's multiple butlers.
Detective Ricardo. This is the real McCoy. This, they call it burn all of this, okay?
Did they burn this, is that what you said?
Yeah, they make it this here. I kept two of the process, and then I give one to Detective Ricardo, and he said he doesn't have it, but he probably, I don't know where it is, but anyway, here is all the, let me just highlight this for you. Brad is more interested in this massage Florida, all the phone numbers of the girls. And when I had the subpoena, he had my writing. They went to the garbage to find these records. Some of these girls, of course, they asked me, do you know? I said, no or yes, but here is the evidence.
Oh, I don't have closed caption. Sorry, guys. Oh, wait.
Very codes. Okay.
Who created this book?
Epstein himself.
This book was made by Epstein?
All his Mercedes, all his planes, they were supposed to have this. He made all of this disappear.
So he had a copy of these for everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere he
well,
was.
Of course, he said, "I don't have it." Now, can I show you something?
Absolutely.
This is I got something here for you, but I'm not. What is that? If you go one by one, for instance, Jean-Luc he used to own the Karen model
Yes, Jean-Luc.
agencies all over the world. He was the scout to bring young girls to Epstein. That's what he said. Karen model is bullshit.
How do you know that?
Because he called me and said, Alfredo, I have 2 females for him. Personally, I would pick him up in the airport.
So you would pick up the girls?
With him, yes.
Okay.
All the time. Okay, now.
And you knew he was having sex with these girls?
No, he was not involved. He will leave these girls. He will, everything will operate a plane. He will back to Paris.
No, I'm talking about Epstein.
Yeah.
You knew Epstein was having sex with these girls that this guy
I didn't see them, but of course you are an adult. I have 2 girls, all the Luella and the Gardner we saw, and we looked the other way because once after he leaves the house, we will find condoms on the regular. But I went through these 2 hours of testimony, you know.
Okay.
But this is the people that I couldn't say in front of the camera. I know because I have these documents at home. Because this is the agreement that I have with Brad. He doesn't know this. He cannot be tell anybody that whoever give you this, I don't know.
And where exactly did you find that?
This was in my desk. I happen.
Imagine you take something like this to the FBI and then you get arrested. Because the FBI is involved.
Let me explain. Epstein owned a house all over Palm Beach, Paris, New York, Sorrel Ranch in New Mexico, the islands. Okay. He provided for my house. My kitchen is 3 times bigger as this, and I have a desk there. This and other books that I have information. But this was supposed to go. I have to call the pilot. I have it there, and also my computer. But just in case of power failure, he was very organized. So I was supposed to be this on every plane and everything. So,
How did you keep that from getting destroyed?
Because, okay, good question. One day I took the Suburban. There were 2 Suburbans, identical for the stuff. One had OnStar, the other one didn't have it or something. And Epstein said, "Oh, Alfredo, you took the one I like," and he used the excuse because he probably knew that I knew a lot of things. So he let me go. He paid me 3 months after that, no problem, good recommendation, whatever it is. But he knew already that I didn't have a clue, actually. You know, that he was an investigation. He didn't investigate. Proof of that is that when they show me when I was subpoenaed with Brad, they showed bank statements with my signature because I said, "Alfredo, give me $30,000. Go to Colonial Bank, here's the cash." 20 times. My signature. They retrieve those from the bank and also the notes on the phone, from the garbage. The FBI was already telling him. I didn't know that.
The FBI was telling you.
The FBI was already involved with this. After the Palm Beach Police Department said we couldn't find anything about Epstein, of course.
Palm Beach Police Department and the FBI.
Palm Beach was bought out.
Shady.
The FBI got involved because these girls, they came from out of state, from out of the country. So FBI got involved. So I saw them both. Palm Beach Police Department, they asked me to subpoena, and I said, "How did you work?" "Yes, but they don't have nothing of this."
Now, you were interviewed by the FBI?
Yeah.
And because I remember you told me that on the phone. How come you didn't tell them about that?
No, because they didn't ask me. "Do you have any phone numbers?" "I don't have it."
So you lied to them, essentially.
Yeah, because my wife told me this. Look at this. I said, "Alfredo, why don't you say to Brad, we right now, let me explain this. We're just about to lose the house in Miami." And I said to Brad, "Listen, help me," and I provided with the keys. "Why can you provide me?" "I have it." "Do you have this number?" "Yes, I do." "Yes, I do." But help me out, and this is what we can do.
The only reason I'm asking these questions is not because I'm curious by any means. I have to verify that that's a lot of money in there, and that the money that I'm giving you, that this stuff is real, and you didn't just go into a phone book and make up a bunch of names. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Not that I don't trust you, but my job is to vet out any sort of.
Well, this,
yes.
You want to call some numbers? I don't know.
No, I don't need to
Okay,
call
but
numbers.
anyway, let me go on and you will see how deep is this, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Jean-Luc Brunel. So here I have another thing. Her Highness Duchess of York. personal friend of Epstein.
Mhm.
All the
Wow.
time, is Jeffrey in the house? I don't think she was involved, but look who called to the house. It's in the papers that with my
Right.
signature. Okay?
Okay.
All right. You will see a lot of important people here, but let me just show you the personal secretary of Epstein. Her address in New York, emails, all of this they asked me, how can I remember? But it was this here. Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell was his former companion, a very powerful lady from England. She would go to the former Eastern countries in Europe and find girls for Epstein. And I knew that because I went with my wife. They used to have a computer so powerful, they used to have a water radiator to cool the computer because they used to download pictures like that so fast. Girls, she has nice breasts, she has this and that.
You saw that stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
On the computer,
Yeah.
pictures of the girls?
Mhm.
When they naked and stuff like that?
Yeah, I testified that.
You testified
Yeah,
that
I
already?
did. Yeah.
Okay.
That Brad knows about, but I couldn't prove that. That's why they need the guy that fixed the Citrix systems. He lives in Ohio. I'm going to him. Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay. They asked me if I knew the guys who ran his state in Manhattan. I said, I know it's Joseph and Florina. I don't remember this. Here, Joseph and Florina were a domestic managing couple for Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, you can ask them. They're probably there. They're still there. There are a couple of Filipinos. Okay. Massage, California. I didn't personally knew that this girl was coming from California. These are the numbers. Okay, and
Those are only those are California numbers.
Yeah.
A lot of these are just.
No, but no. But of course. But this is you have to think about this. This information is only for Epstein, his associates, very close associates.
Right.
You know.
So those are mostly underage girls. Those numbers.
They were very young. Let me. You gotta know this. You have to know this. My wife and I, we used to own a small coffee shop, mom and pop operation, and we wanted to buy the property because at that time they were asking $300,000 commercial. So I showed the papers to Mr. Epstein to help me. Said, Mr. Epstein, can you help me? You know anybody that can give me a mortgage? And he said, call this person. So I called this person, beautiful girl, 28 years old, and I said, is Jeffrey in town? Of course, he was very eager to see him. So in no time, he showed up in the manager. I didn't put him on a drug it out. So I escorted to the outside of the house, and we sat in the courtyard, have a drink, and she told me, Alfredo, I'm in the social security that to run your record. Okay, so we met for 10, 15 minutes. I was escorting out, and he saw her. And he said, hey, let's say, I don't know, Courtney or whatever it is. Hi, Jeffrey, boom, they hug, blah, blah, blah. Okay, thank you, boom. She goes. Mr. Epstein calls me. Alfredo, come to my office, please. How did you dare to bring her to my house? Blah, blah. Mr. Epstein, you give me the number. Yeah, I didn't tell you. I don't want to see her again. Because after 22 years old and on, he doesn't want any girls.
He doesn't want 22 years and on.
Disease, he is disease. He's sick.
She didn't like the fact that she was there because she was an adult.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
So all the girls, all we used to have in the refrigerator was ice cream for the girls, cereal and
Ice cream for the girls.
skim milk. Okay, and these knows David the chef, everybody in the house. Now, of course, I was the boss, so I had to know these things.
Sure.
Okay. So massage Paris. Some of these they were in the house in Palm Beach. Okay, but there's the lawyers, they want to see connections between these phone numbers and some of these girls that they're suing, because they find these numbers, one of the biggest girls suing, they will say, oh my God, they put 1 and 2. Okay? Okay. Alberto Pinto is one of the most famous architects in the world. He designed his house in Paris. Call me all the time, all his numbers, very important people. Balson Cochrane, he was my colleague, house manager of the property in Paris. They asked me that question in the subpoena. I didn't have it. There it is. Okay. Let me go on. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. But
No, don't be nervous.
Brad,
We're going to take our time and go through this one thing at a time.
all right. Another thing Brad wants to know.
So that was Alfredo's interview. If there's going to be a forced investigation, it needs to go international. There's so many involved, guys. It's really crazy. I wanted to show you guys. Let me see what else is on here for the night. We can go over that tomorrow. Okay. Oh, I might want to mute that music. So this is like a compilation. We're gonna watch just a little bit and then I'll save the rest for tomorrow. And there's no Nancy Guthrie updates. I know we covered both this Epstein stuff and Nancy. Nothing as of tonight. So this video is a compilation of kind of like the similar clips I showed you of the girls and stuff. So we'll watch a little bit of this. I'll mute the music for a little bit. Somebody's dancing for him. Actually, there's multiple. Steve, see that? There's multiple girls in the room. Somebody's dancing. Victim or minor. You can see the feet. There's two females. You can see the feet down here. This is Jeffrey Epstein taking the video. What's going on here? I'm wondering if that's some. Okay, there's her head up here. That's crazy. I wonder if it's a girl giving another girl a lap dance. Or if it's a male with a girl. Wow, that's like all redacted. Rihanna in the background. Like in the background, if it's Jeffrey Epstein and a girl, or if it's two females and somebody, Ghislaine could be taking the video. You can see someone dancing. That looks like Jeffrey. Whoa. You have to watch closely. Zoom in. Catch the top portions you can see. Yeah, it's Jeffrey and another girl. They're dancing. What the? Yeah, you can see them dancing. Like, look up here, their hands and stuff. That's sick. I can't tell if that's Jeffrey Epstein or somebody else. And who the hell is taking this video? It's in his office. Yeah, it is. Hey, Rudy. Dude, these pigs. Ew. Something is going on there, like for sure, with this song. I actually really love that song. Oh yeah, there's hair flying everywhere. Was that a foot? Whoa. Mm. Like you can see the feet down here. What happened to all these females too? Are they alive? Unfortunately, we'll never know a lot of them. This is some weird freak shit going on here. You can see down here the legs. Someone in black sweatpants is dancing with that girl. That's barefoot. Mhm. Yeah, some P. Diddy shit. I feel like this might be worse, if that's even possible. Because didn't Diddy at least have like, I mean, not that it's better, but Cassie was, well, she was underage at some point, I thought, when she got hired into making the band. So yeah, I guess. Either one, they're both disgusting. All these people should get bomb squad. Facts. Like, what is going on in this video? Yeah, don't justify. Yeah, both the same. Exactly. Right? They're different, but the same. They're both sick. Oh gosh, they put on that song back on. What the fuck? Oh, okay, here's a girl. Looks like a girl in black sweats. Okay. They look like they're dancing, yeah. Wow. Oh, what's going on here? No, so there is 2 of them. Oh. Yeah. Hey, Long Beach native, good to see you. Wow. He just has 2 girls dancing around for him. Oh, now the other one doesn't have black sweatpants on. Huh. So much of vitamins and medication. Sinus stuff on his desk. Advil. Yeah, here's where you can see one of the girls. Yeah, see, now there's 2 girls. One doesn't have sweatpants on, and she did before. Oh, no, the black sweatpants is a girl with red hair, I think. I think he's taking this video. Unless there was 2 with sweatpants. There's no sound to this either. I'll fast forward through a little bit, like a couple seconds to see if we see anything. What's going on? You can see a lot of movement down here. Oh, you can kind of see the reflection right here. Who is that? What is that? Oh, here's the one with the black pants again. Oh, so maybe there's lots of different. Humex, glasses. I like to be nosy and see what's on his desk. I don't want to get copyrighted for the music. Which I probably will. Okay. The dancing is back. Jeez, that's a lot of dancing. It's a lot of dancing. Look at there. DNA paternity test kit. What the? I hadn't noticed that when I watched it before. Paternity test kit, DNA. Because we know he had children with a bunch of the victims. I think so, at least in my opinion. My opinion only. Educational purposes, research purposes, public files. Wow, I just noticed that. A DNA paternity test kit. Sicko. Wow. I had not noticed that before. I'm shook. Wow. Looks like working out bands. Water, some kind of perfume. What is that? Is that fragrances on his desk? Oh. Wow, I'm shook. I hadn't noticed that DNA test. Who are those children in that picture too? Creepy. You know how he is, so. Okay, I need to go back because I think I just heard a voice. What is that little doll figurine thing right here? What do you call those dolls? Um, yeah, it's a girl in the black sweats. Wow. Russian dolls. Oh, okay, thank you. Did anybody make sure this girl is still alive? Whoa. Okay. Dancing her ass off for this monster. Poor girls, man. So weird. He had a paternity test on his desk. It's like a home party. Who was there? Yeah, I need to know. "47 minutes of just them dancing and having a little party there." Hmm. Hmm. Sickos. DNA test part. Yo, he had them a lot too. There's some files that like he had like a lot of DNA tests. I forget the exact number, but it might come up in the documents we read. Um, okay. That's enough for tonight. I think I showed you guys enough. And tomorrow we have an Epstein live. So I'll show you guys more then. We'll be reading documents. Shout out to you guys. I didn't even do Jody tonight. We were supposed to, but that's nasty. I'm too caught up in Epstein files. So shout out to you guys for being here. Almost 4 hours. No updates on Nancy, no arrest in the Nancy Guthrie case, no arrest in the Epstein files. Other than whatever his name, Salami, but he's probably out now. I don't know if he's in jail. I'll have to look that up. I'll let you guys know tomorrow. Please hit that like button on the way out. We had a ton of you guys here tonight. Welcome to all the new subs. I will see you guys tomorrow with more true crime. I shall be on earlier than today. I was just DICKing around today, being lazy, going through the Epstein files. So I promise I'll be on earlier tomorrow. We still going to late dinner or not? I know. You guys spent your Valentine's Day with me, so that means we're officially each other's Valentine. Shout out to you guys. It's now the next day here. So day 15 for Nancy missing. I love and appreciate all of you. Please, please, please hit the like button because your girl is being censored and I need all the likes that I can get. Shout out to you guys for being here, and I will see you tomorrow on the next one.